We're live. Hello.
So
Welcome
live.
to Ian and Kyle Mangle the English Language.
Yay.
Or fixthechat.com.
Fixthechat.com.
So Ian and I? I'm Ian.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
Ian.
yeah.
We're Kyle.
Yes.
Ian and Kyle are here tonight. Ian's
Yes.
tired.
Ian is tired.
Ian only got a few hours of sleep last night. And there were a couple of reasons for that. Kyle was asking me about that before. One, I have given up coffee for the most part, but did have a little coffee yesterday.
Right.
So that probably interfered with my sleep a little bit. But I was also excited. I was excited about a couple of things. The first of which was, hi, Chris.
He was excited about Chris.
I was excited about Chris.
Hey, Chris.
That's true. No, I was excited about our company Potluck for Thanksgiving, which happened today. We ate a lot of food that everybody prepared, and it turns out my company is full of fantastic cooks.
Wow.
So I made a pig of myself and had a really good time today. I was excited about it and a little anxious because I had to get up early and do a lot of cooking, like in the morning.
What did you cook for the potluck today?
Oh, I made some potato latkes and I made some bread pudding.
I've enjoyed your potato latkes a time or two. They're quite good.
Yeah, traditional Thanksgiving dinner in the Ian home. That's not true.
Yeah, not true.
But I am Jewish, so or kind of.
Therefore, you must make latkes.
So I know how to make latkes. So
I see.
It is permitted for me to make latkes.
Yes, that's good. That's good.
Look who finally showed up. I think we're early tonight. We usually start about 8:30, so we're literally 10 minutes early.
Whoa. Maybe he was referring to himself.
Oh,
that could be true.
That's true.
We started streaming like 90 seconds ago, and this is a pretty late arrival for Casey, I think.
Sure. So a couple more reasons I was excited.
Yeah.
One was our cards last week were very, very, very terrible.
Second worst? I don't think they were the worst.
I'm
Maybe
not
worse?
so sure. They might have been the worst cards. We did. So I was excited that there is literally no way for tonight to go more poorly than last week.
Now, hold on.
Mathematically, it is impossible.
Well, so I feel like there are things you can say, and then there are things you shouldn't say. And I feel like you may have just crossed the streams a little there. We'll see.
Well,
I mean, the previous night...
While streaming,
yeah,
I kind of feel like I'm obligated to say the things I shouldn't say.
okay, sure. I guess you can make that case.
Is there any way I can not say that?
I suppose setting us up for failure, at least at the expense of, or, for the sake of entertainment, is reasonable. I think... So let's talk about that for a moment. Let's analyze the statement here.
Oh,
because
gosh. I didn't think you were going to get into that part of the statement.
Yeah, we had a really, really bad night maybe 4 times ago. And then we had some okay cards.
Yeah.
And then I think the strongest case to say that our most recent one was worse is it was not only awful cards, it was awful for 4 games. Usually it's only awful for 3 games.
That may be.
So by that logic, the obvious extrapolation is that tonight we must have 5 god-awful games if we want to top our previous worst night of cards.
I don't want that. Do you want that?
I don't want that. The Fates may want that. You've tempted the Fates.
I can take them. I ain't afraid of no fates. Boy, you derailed my thought process there. Let me see if I can get back on track.
Take that thought process of Ian.
Oh, so what I want to mention about that is because the cards were terrible, I did kind of get even further behind in uploading streams.
Yep.
I did upload our first terrible one, which I think is now 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But I didn't even finish watching it. I watched like 80-90% of that.
Boy, that's a run.
So I'm going to talk about 3 more things I was excited about.
Yeah, back to the good stuff.
I was excited about the possibility of going to see Justice League today with
Yep.
my office coworkers after we gorged ourselves on our Thanksgiving potluck.
Mm-hmm. Gorged, yeah.
And we didn't do that.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
Turns out we could not find... So I told you this earlier. I'm actually going to say it on stream because I think it's a good story. I went around... My position for the last week or so has been... Well, going to see big blockbuster superhero movies is kind of a thing my office does.
Yeah.
We usually do it middle of the day on release day, so A, we both get the release day experience, and B, we avoid
the
a lot of the crowds. Yeah.
It's a good strategy.
I enjoy it, and it's wonderful to work at a company where we have the opportunity to do something like that. So the kind of vibe about Justice League has been kind of lackluster at the office, and my position was, I feel like we should see it. It seems like the type of thing we should see, but I'm not excited about it.
But you did. You brought this up on the list of things that kept you up last night because you were so excited.
Well, sure. Shush. You don't undermine my storytelling.
Yeah. So nobody was really excited for Justice League.
So for a couple weeks I was asking, like, I was trying to find, like, I felt like I was in a position where if somebody was excited for it, I would also be excited for it, if that makes any sense.
So you're excited for the possibility of somebody being excited.
So I systematically asked everybody at the office, or nearly everybody who would go see that movie, and the amazing... I'm being auto-hosted by my company. That's interesting.
Congratulations.
And we have a myriad of additional viewers for no reason for that. That's cool.
Do we have a myriad? Are we up to? How can we gauge?
The text in the chat just said we have up to 6 viewers.
Up to 6 viewers. I wonder if that's a sum.
That probably means
6 people. Have
6
ever
viewers
the
can see us at Digital Eclipse, but only 6 viewers. I don't know what that means. I've never seen that prompt before. I didn't actually know they hosted us.
Well, maybe maybe this is new. Maybe this is because of the Extra Life. Maybe there's like a...
Well, I'll get into that in a second.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, I systematically asked everybody at the office, and literally everybody felt exactly the same as I did, which is nobody was excited for it, and everybody was hoping somebody else would be excited for it, so that we would go see the movie. And ultimately, we didn't end up going to see the movie because no one was excited for it. What we did do, however, is I did a little streaming this afternoon, and we did Extra Life 2 weeks ago. Kyle was actually participating in that.
I did.
And we, Other Ocean / Digital Eclipse, have decided to continue streaming regularly. And I thought that was going to be kind of like a monthly thing. But it looks like we're pushing it to be either a weekly thing or a twice-weekly thing.
Ooh, that's ambitious.
For short amount of time. Like, we're not doing big, long plays,
like
which is unfortunate because that's kind of the way I like to stream video games in sort of longer chunks. But so it'll be an experimental thing for me. Now, I bring it up for 2 reasons. One, that explains why we're getting hosted by Digital Eclipse Dev, which is our Twitch stream for The Office. 2, to mention that I streamed this afternoon, and you can tune into that channel. Digital Eclipse Dev is the name of the Twitch channel, and see us stream a couple of times a week. And I don't think we have the schedule fully worked out yet, but it seems like it's going to be 2:30 to 3:30 our time, Pacific time, on Fridays. And as we sort of solidify that, I will update you on our stream. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention is we also have a YouTube channel where we have uploaded all of the Extra Life videos and some of the streams we've done since. And I put the YouTube channel in the Twitch description of my channel.
Yep. Where everyone watching now is.
Yeah, where everyone watching now is. And I'm also going to be putting it in the description of this video and probably a couple videos, because I'll probably be talking about this stuff for a few videos on YouTube. So you can click through and look at stuff like, you can see Kyle and I played 3 Castlevanias at Extra Life, and those are all uploaded now. And Kyle was participating for one of those Castlevanias. I want
to point out that specifically with the Digital Eclipse Dev streaming the Extra Life and so forth, you actually get to see people's faces in addition to their hands, which adds some novelty. If you had ever wondered extensively, especially Chris, for example, what we look like, you can go and
you can see a couch.
Actually see. That's right. There's a couch.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then in the background, there's a legitimate green screen that you can't see because there's stuff there on the green screen.
Yes. Yep. That is all of those things that Kyle just said is true.
Yeah. So the only bad news there, and then I'll stop interrupting you, is that well, that's probably a lie. Is that you won't ever get to know what the green screen looks like.
Interesting. Not if we overlay. So we replace the green screen. We use the color key to remove the green screen, and then the image we replace it with is a picture of the green screen.
Wow,
maybe from a different angle.
Well, I will say a green screen I find to be one of the most difficult to conceptualize concepts.
Maybe we should do
green screen.
I forget what the name of that effect is, but what we could do is we could have us in the foreground, and then in the background is a larger version of us.
Oh, I love that. That's Meta.
Anyway,
Yeah,
getting off track here. So the reason I'm pimping the channel is YouTube has a new policy, and it's so stupid, and I hate it.
Yep.
We can't name the URL of our Digital Eclipse channel until we have 100 subscribers. So the Digital Eclipse channel is like youtube.com/a stupid random string of letters and numbers that we can't fix until we hit 100 subscribers. So if you would be doing us a tremendous favor if you went to that site and subscribed. I don't know if you need to say subscribe.
You probably need to click the button. Yeah, just click the button.
If you could do that for now for a couple of weeks until we can just rename our channel, even if you're not interested in the content and want to unsubscribe at some point in the future.
Right. I kind of get why they do that. But
Well, it's super weird because like my channel, I was able to name as an individual way back in the day.
Yeah.
For free, like you made a channel, you got to name it. That's how it worked.
I think the argument in favor, which it doesn't necessarily hold up under scrutiny, but the argument in favor is, of course, to prevent people from just creating a bunch of like stub accounts, and taking a bunch of good names and then selling those names later.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah, that makes sense.
However, if you're able to create those stub accounts at all with random strings, you can create 100 and then just subscribe.
And that's certainly something we could do, and we're not.
Right.
I assume we could. None of us want to do that.
No. I'm not
I think we have like a good 10 or 20 legit subscribers already, so we're on our way.
And I'm definitely not suggesting you do it. I'm just saying it's one of those things where like I understand that they're trying to make things inconvenient for people who are abusing the system, but I'm not sure that solution is going to be necessarily effective. I guess we'll see.
So yeah. Anyway, so we stream lots of stuff. Extra Life. This week I tried to do a triple stream. I tried to do a full playthrough of NES Jaws, which only takes like 15 minutes.
Did you succeed though?
Yes, of course.
All right.
I had to make sure. I did a good 15 or 20 minutes of Friday the 13th, the NES game.
Yep.
And I was trying to go for, like, the theme I was trying to go for was sort of like
80s horror films.
No, you might think that from those two examples. I was trying to go for like, because we wanted to do, the reason I picked Jaws is we're trying to do the shorter format stream.
Right.
And I actually threw it off. I was kind of half joking. Like, well, I could play through Jaws. It's like 15 minutes.
Right.
So it was one of the things we did. But then I was like, all right, so I'll pair it with a couple of other things that are sort of underappreciated, but largely regarded as bad NES games.
Right.
So I wanted to do Jaws and Friday the 13th and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but we had technical difficulties with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So I did Jaws and Friday the 13th. So it wound up being LJN video games based on 80s horror movies that had persistent villains.
That's very specific.
That was the theme wound up being.
Very, very specific.
Of course, because I played two games.
And you said the link was down below, yeah. For anyone watching, the link to the YouTube channel is down below to get those subscriptions.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and Chris, I'm streaming stuff I like. I'm streaming stuff I don't like. We're still figuring it out, so I don't know what I'll do. I think I'll stick to a lot of NES stuff.
Sure.
Possibly a lot of the stuff I sent to you as suggestions for you to play on Nostalgia Time, but we'll see how that goes. Sure. Importantly, like, there is some business motivation for us to do this. So some of the things we'll be doing and I'll be doing is streaming games we would like Digital Eclipse to revisit and remaster and make collections of.
Right.
So that's largely the reason we were doing the Castlevania stream, is we want to do a Castlevania collection we've had for a long time.
Yeah.
So we're trying to,
generate some
use
hype.
it as marketing and generate hype around it.
It's very reasonable.
It would be a good fit for us. And I'm going to do a couple other series like that in the future, and I'll let you know.
Yeah.
So I think that's the end of the streaming nonsense I got to talk about.
Those are the 8 things that kept you up at night.
No, there was one more thing that kept me up.
Oh, okay. So,
and probably the most accurate of all of these things that I've been kind of
excited for some great cards tonight.
I already mentioned that I was excited for the great cards.
Well, I thought it might have counted as 1 and 5.
No.
So
what I'm excited for is I've been playing a new board game.
A new board game.
I've been playing a new board game, and it's a board game I'm really enjoying.
This is novel.
There's a lot of reasons why that you might not believe me. I understand that.
Yeah, I'm not sure I believe you. You might just be lying as an excuse to stay up late and costing yourself sleep.
So I've been playing a game called Gloomhaven,
Gloomhaven.
And
okay.
Gloomhaven is a lot of things. It's a campaign-based sort of tactical dungeon crawl, sort of like Descent, which is a game I'm a very big fan of.
Okay.
So that's why I'm very excited for it. I go all in on those games, even though I bitch about them a lot. Sorry, Chris, I do.
Yeah,
that's true.
You do enjoy
I've been bitching about this one a lot too. It's just kind of par for the course. But it is also a legacy game, which means you modify it as you play it, and you play it once.
That is to say, you play it once to completion, and then you would play it again to completion, but it'd be different the second time.
No, as in like Risk Legacy or Pandemic Legacy. Like, as you're playing it, you are revealing elements of the game, you are destroying elements of the game.
Well, modifying future instances. Because, you're modifying future playthroughs of the game.
You're modifying a subsequent session.
Right. Because the way you worded it is, you said it's a legacy game, but you play it once. And my understanding of
sorry.
Terminology, semantics.
Yeah, I guess I was being unclear there. So thank you for helping me elucidate. So it's played in sessions. So a session is about, they say, an hour and a half. Our session so far, even though we're beginners, have been about 2 hours. So it's not that far off.
That's pretty good. It's pretty good for beginners, for sure.
Just a little faster than a game of Ashes.
I was thinking of a way to take that, to make that the reference.
But it tells a story, and there are the instructions say, or maybe the reviews say, there's going to be about 100 hours of gameplay. So I take that to mean there's 50 or 60 or 70 scenarios you can play through. It's a card-based game that plays a lot like and a lot unlike Pathfinder, the card game. Which is really interesting to me. It shares the metric that your actions are your cards that are in your hand, but they're also sort of your life.
Interesting.
In that, when you've exhausted all of your cards, your character's out of the session. Now, there's no penalty for loss like in Pathfinder, which is really nice. Like if all of the characters are killed in a scenario, or air quotes killed in a scenario, you just don't win the scenario, and you can choose to do the scenario again. In fact, we have lost one of the 3 scenarios we've played twice already. Right. Agrid's giving me ellipses. I don't know what that's about. He's probably going to chime in here and talk about this game a bunch because he's a big board game guy. Yeah. Do you run a board game store, Casey, or do you work in one? I don't know the details on that. I'm asking. I've always been intended to do this, and I just remember now. I want to add him to our frequently asked questions because Chris and Casey are always here, and we talk to Chris and Casey directly. And I have a little blurb that's like, "Who's Chris?"
Right.
And I'd like to add one that's like, "Who's Casey?" And I want to make sure I have that correctly. So work in or run. Are the boss man the owner?
Maybe yep means yes to
both.
Yeah, like he both works at a store and runs it, which is a reasonable conclusion. There we go.
Okay.
A game specialist. I like that terminology. I enjoy that. That's like the wine taster of games, where you go in and he takes a sip of the board game and it's delicious. And he comments how this particular game has notes of cherry. Sure. Mm-hmm.
So what else can I tell you about this game that's interesting? It blends a tremendous amount of mechanics from other games, and I think it does it surprisingly well. It's diceless, which is mind blowing.
Whoa, that is mind blowing. So that actually could be the big hook. But what you've just described is, in talking about these distinct elements, it sounds again like it's this sort of mashed together from all these different successful components potentially. Is there a single standout mechanic or element, or is it really just it's greater than the sum of its parts kind of thing?
I think it's so the draw for me is that I would say, like, I'm excited for it because it's Descent-alike.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it because it distinguishes itself by having a lot of these mechanics that are in other games, and a couple of mechanics that I'm not familiar with that may be from other games, or maybe unique to it. And they all work in concert surprisingly well.
Right.
Like, there's a tremendous amount of stuff in the game and there's very little of it where I'm like, that's out of place, or there's literally nothing where I'm like, that's out of place, and there's very little where I'm like, that kind of doesn't work very well.
Right. So the pieces that are seemingly disparate were chosen well.
Yes. Yeah.
And how much would you say so with the legacy aspect, does that mean there are things that retain between sessions even on loss, or are there different outcomes on loss and victory in terms of what is retained?
Let me explain a little bit about how I've encountered legacy elements to the game so far. Of course, the first little bit is the way we chose our characters, and like in most legacy games, there were 6 sealed envelopes.
Okay.
And I said, this symbol on this envelope looks kind of neat, so I'll pick this one. And Chris said, this symbol on this other envelope looks kind of neat, so he'll pick this one. And then we opened our envelopes and found out what character we were playing. So there's like hidden information, which is a trope in a legacy game.
Yep. Things are discovered.
And then, like, for an example, in a scenario, we opened a treasure chest, and in the treasure chest we found a map. And what that meant was we pulled out a sticker to a location we could then go to, and there's a big board that is the map of the world around the town of Gloomhaven. I keep wanting to call it Bloodhaven, which is the DC universe city. And you put the sticker on the map, and then that's someplace we can go forever. And there's a lot of things where we also have like an encounter card. It has encounter mechanics not too different from what the heck are the names of those games? The one that did the zombie game that I bought you that
I actually didn't put away. That's a Dead of Winter.
Dead of Winter. But the name of the studio is the name of the mechanic, where you have choice. Like you're presented with a scenario and you make a choice,
right? And
then the outcome is based on the choice you make. Crossroads. They're called Crossroads in that game.
Okay.
I don't know if they originated the idea, but that's an element of this game. And we have encountered those types of choices where it's like, okay, now this card is gone forever. Like you made this choice, and now this card is removed from the game. And the idea, like, the rules are like rip up the card, but Chris didn't want to do that. He felt bad about that.
I would feel bad about it. I understand.
It's fun. I've done it in a couple of other legacy games. It's weirdly cathartic to destroy a component of a game that you're playing
and spend money on. Potentially, like there is something sort of surreal about the buy to destroy. It's a great way to, if you really really enjoy the experience, it would make you buy it again because you couldn't actually recreate it because you're missing pieces.
Right. And sadly, this is a really expensive game, which was really cheap through the Kickstarter, which is how Chris got his hand on it. There's a million components. So 2 final things I want to say about the mechanics.
Yeah.
And then I can answer any questions you have or the audience has if you want to. But I'm super into it, and I'm going to keep doing it. I've played it 4 times this week.
Whoa, that is that is a high recommendation right there.
The one is GM free, which I'm always looking for these days because it's hard to get. It's hard to get gamers together, let alone somebody who's willing to run a game like Descent and Imperial Assault require GMs, which is an obstacle to getting to play those kinds of games.
And how many? So this one does not require a GM.
It does not require a GM.
Yeah. So how many players does it require to play, or how many players are you playing with?
Well, I'll get into that in a second. It's interesting. So it's 1 to 4 players.
Okay.
I think is the guidance.
Okay.
I'm not sure. It might go to 5.
Okay.
I think it's 1 to 4 though.
Let's go with that.
But the game experience, the 100 hours of gameplay, is the story of the town and what's going on in and around it. It's not the story of the characters. So, even though my character is persistent and can gain levels and perks and equipment and stuff like that, I could say, all right, this session we're telling the story of this other character, and I just put my character back in the box and go get another character. Now, as you pick a character, the character gets a mission. I don't remember what these are called, but he gets a mission that's like his objective
personal
in the story.
Okay.
And when you complete that mission, and that mission will be completed just from you playing the game, your character leaves the game. You can no longer play that character. However, the theory is there might be story elements later that involve that character that has left the game.
So it's sort of like the removed from game mechanic, where some things are like, this is removed from the game, but comes back at the end of the turn. circumstantially based upon quest outcome.
Well, this is more like this is no longer a player character forever, but later he might be an NPC or a villain or something.
Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. And this game is Gloomhaven, you said?
It's called Gloomhaven, yes, which is the name of the city that this story is about. And for that reason, you can drop people into a scenario, or take them out of a scenario. And the way that works is
as long as they haven't been removed from the game.
As long as they can't use a character that's been removed from the game. As long as there are characters available,
right.
And as you progress in the game, more characters become available. And I think, regardless of what happens whenever a character is removed from the game, a new character becomes available. I'm not sure about that yet. So other things you do improve or destroy the prosperity, air quotes, of Gloomhaven. So when you create a character, which is when you open the box that is a character for the first time, they might start at a level that corresponds to the prosperity of Gloomhaven. So like if we get Gloomhaven prosperous enough, someone might be able to join as a level 2 character or whatnot. So that's kind of how that works. Or as we open, like as a character leaves and we pick a new character.
That's interesting. I mean,
so it's pretty cool. I'm enjoying it so far.
Well, and one of the core, I think, drivers in the Legacy game premise is that the more you play, the progressively more unique your experience becomes. And even if you don't talk to a bunch of other players that have played Gloomhaven specifically, there's a part of you that knows that your experience is, 1 in 1,000 or maybe 1 in 1,000,000, depending upon the permutations in the game. And there's some, in some ways that's the very definition of novelty in a sense. But in the best of ways, not in a cop-out kind of way. I think it's very interesting to create that sort of interconnected mechanic set. That's fascinating. That is fascinating.
So, final thing I want to say on that, unless there's questions from you or our peanut gallery, is you remember we played like Descent or what do we play? Dark Souls, the board game, stuff like that. And I always say, like, I feel like I roll really badly. And I had been attributing that, like, I'm like, okay, well, cheapy Kickstarter dice produced for commercial games just are not probably very well balanced. So they probably have imperfections, and I just wind up with the imperfections that result in poor rolls for me. Nope. This game with it actually has card draw mechanics to replace the dice rolling.
And you draw terribly.
I consistently draw terribly, so I don't know how to explain that, but I just have terrible luck at these kind of games. It's mind-boggling how spectacularly I have failed in the 4 sessions I've played. Like, and the failures are very costly, as with any of those types of games, because like you have a very finite number of moves, which are your cards, and like so consistently I'd be like, no, we're fine, I'll just do this, like I'll do my super move now, which requires me to discard an extra card, but it'll get us out of this pinch that will, accelerate the game, but it's going to work because it's a super move, and then it's like, oh, I drew the miss card. Okay, well, never mind. So that has happened to me several times.
That's funny.
There's also a level up mechanic that I kind of don't like, where you get a mission for each session, like a little personal goal for each adventure or whatever they're called, and if you complete it, you get like a check mark, and you get 3 check marks, and you get a perk. But I have not been able to complete in 4 sessions one of those missions, and that's been very, very frustrating. And I feel like that could have just been like, oh, you just get a check mark every session, because like Chris has, so I feel like I'm falling behind him because I can't keep accomplishing
that is
my goals.
character specific. Is that correct?
No, those are they're not character specific. Like, my goal is different than his goal, so they're character specific in that way.
When I say character specific, I'm referring to the check mark itself. That is to say, if his character who's got a bunch of check marks is written out of the story because that character has success, then he's starting from the beginning of the next character. Or are the check marks go to perks that are universal to you, the player?
No. They go to character perks. The perks are per character. You're correct.
Okay. So there is potential for that system to restart. But I agree. That seems like the sort of thing where victory gives you a check mark. If you got victory and completed your quest, maybe you get 2. right, or something like that. So
Sure,
you're always
yeah.
making some progress, but to feel like you're standing still in a game based around progression can be frustrating. I assume you've progressed in other ways, loot, equipment, and so forth.
Well, it's kind of interesting. All right, we're going to go all in on the mechanics here.
Oh, here
so, loot is entirely personalized.
Mm-hmm.
So anything Chris picks up, I don't get, and vice versa. Chris's moveset, which are determined by his action cards, are very much better at collecting loot than mine are. So I am not accruing loot very much. It's something I've been struggling with, but I was able to get enough money in the last session to buy a thing I wanted, so I feel like I'm making some progress. It's just very slow. And I've basically given up on that aspect of the game. Like, I'm not trying to get money or loot.
Right.
Also, experience is awarded by your actions. So I've been taking actions that seem to be leveling me up a lot faster than Chris is leveling up. And by a lot, I mean like 20 or 30% more. Like, I have reached level 2 just at the end of our last session, and he had not. So that's interesting, too.
So ahead in some ways, behind in others.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's going to balance out. Like, I've been a little frustrated because, like, in these games, I often feel frustrated if I don't feel like I can contribute. And I felt like I was struggling to contribute until just recently. And again, it's early, so I want to reserve some judgment.
Sure.
But I felt like his character came out of the box a lot more powerful than my character.
Right.
And I felt like just with me getting some stuff, maybe I'm starting to sort of match his power level. And learning how to play. It is a deck builder as well.
Right.
Well, not precisely. But by that I mean you have a pool of cards that you put into your deck. And one of the only things you get as you level is more cards you can put into your deck. And that is, your deck can't be larger, you just have a bigger pool to choose from to put the cards in your deck.
And I assume that's selected at the start of each session. Like you customize your deck.
So, almost.
Okay.
You can change your deck configuration while you're in Gloomhaven. If you're on a mission, you can't do it, and some missions are like, okay, you completed this part of the mission, and then you go to this next part of the mission, which is the next session. And you can go back to Gloomhaven, but then there's events and stuff.
There's like a cost of travel.
Yep. So I think I literally just described every element of the game. But it's really cool. I'm having fun. I recommend it. I think he got it for $100 on Kickstarter. It comes with 1 million pieces, and I think it retails for... Casey might know this because he's a game specialist for Fort Worth's oldest comic and game store. I think it retails for $250. It might retail for $200. I've seen it on the online anywhere in that range, $200 to $250.
Damn.
But you get I understand. I would expect seeing the pieces to pay that much for this game.
That is
so the $100 version is a steal.
Not a trivial statement. So sorry, you may have answered this explicitly, and I can't quite recall. But so the number of people you're playing with has been variable, or is it consistent?
I've consistently been playing with Chris, but the option is for him to play without me, for him to play with multiple characters without me, for us to add a third player who plays a new character,
all that's on the
for
table.
me to leave and someone else to play my character for a session, that sort of thing.
Okay, so it is, in your particular case, your experience has been playing with one other person.
It's been 100% me and Chris, same characters. And I kind of want to approach it playing this character until I'm forced to retire by his story goal. I'm not sure if Chris will do that. He kind of gets wanderlust. So I could see him tabling his character and picking another character at some point. Probably not right away, but maybe a little bit into the future.
Getting there, yeah. Well, it sounds like the game allows for that, which would probably encourage that desire within him to mix it up. But that also means his experience will be different from yours, which could be good or bad.
Right. Well, I feel like so far in 4 sessions, each session, I've learned to play my character better. So there is some value in playing the same character.
It's like a sort of that skill element of how things interact and what to expect from your deck. I assume. How many cards are in your deck at any given moment?
I believe that varies per character, which is terrifying. Yeah. For both of our characters, it's 10.
Okay.
And I will say, I got to explain now how the card mechanic works.
Yeah.
So on a turn, you choose 2 cards from your hand, and you play them both. The cards are split into a top part and a bottom part, and there's a number on each card. The number on the card is your initiative, so you choose when you go in the turn order based on that. Fast, slow, and all of the monsters as they move get an initiative, and all the players get an initiative. And then when your turn comes up, you choose whether to play. You get to pick 1 top part and 1 bottom part from the 2 cards you played. But you can choose either, and you can also replace either top part with an attack, like a weak attack, and any bottom part with like a small move. So, worst case scenario, you can always move a little bit and attack a little bit. But you're trying to play your cards to get like cool, circumstantial, powerful attacks and group attacks and stuff like that. Which is hard because you don't know when you're going to act and when everybody else is going to act. You're kind of guessing at that. You have educated guesses about that. Right. You're kind of guessing. Those are discarded, and then you can't use them again for a while. So I start with 10. I play 2. I have 8 on my next turn. I play 2, and I have 6. There are some cards that are super powerful that immediately go to a zone I think is called lost. They're lost, which means they're removed from the game for the rest of this session.
Right.
At any time you can...
One play per session.
Yes. At any time, and that's like half a card. So you can play half a card that does that, or the other half that doesn't do that, for example. At any time, but usually when you're out of cards, you can rest, and there's 2 forms of resting.
Yeah. And
rest gets the cards from your discard pile back into your hand. You can take a fast rest, which doesn't recover life, doesn't ready any of the items you may have used during the turn, but puts cards in your hand, and then you put in their lost pile a random card from your hand. Or you take a slow rest, you get 2 life, you ready all the items you've used that are not one-shot items, and you choose the card that is lost. So when you're out of cards, that's the same as death. So literally, if I have a perfect play, I have 10 cards, then 7, then 8, then 9, and then 8, and so forth. So there's like a timer to the entirety of the session.
Right.
And practically, it would be much more aggressive than that.
Right.
You can also put a card in your lost zone to negate any one attack.
I feel like I don't think it. Obviously it's Chris's game, but it does sound very interesting. I'd be curious to sort of. I'm sure I can look up a YouTube video. It's probably the best way to get a sense of it, because I think a lot of what you're describing sounds very interesting. But to form a mental model of all the disparate
there's a lot of pieces.
It's a bit challenging. To
well, you know
wrap my head around it.
What I can do, if you're interested, he's storing it at my office.
Right.
So it's not going to be soon because I'm going out of town. Oh, I should mention that. I'm going to be out of town next week. It's Thanksgiving. Probably people will say we're not going to be.
We're not doing a
next
Thanksgiving
week.
stream. We're out on Friday. Yeah.
But when I get back, I can bring you over there and show you some of the bits if that helps.
Yeah, I might be curious too. There might be an opportunity for that. It definitely, again, it sounds very interesting. It sounds very interesting.
But again, a little frustrated, but I'm having a blast.
Yeah, more fun than not.
I think it prevented me from sleeping well last night. So I just talked a ridiculous amount. I'm going to go get some more water. Yeah. And then we should play some of the best cards we've ever played on stream.
Oh, they'll be so amazing. Nothing you've said could possibly jinx our cards this evening. Yeah, so in my spare time, I continue to dabble with things that aren't Heroes of the Storm. And the latest thing that I've poked at a little bit is a game called Battlerite. Battlerite is the spiritual successor to a game called Bloodline Champions that I actually played like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 6 years, I don't know, quite a while ago. And it's a very fascinating little game. It's primarily a 3v3 multiplayer game, where so it's like you've got MOBA style characters. It's that sort of camera angle, like a Diablo camera angle. It's just team deathmatch, so it's just 3v3, you play till the other team drops. But the actual gameplay is highly skill-oriented, in that it's just team deathmatch, so there's no creeps, there's no jungle to wander around and just fight. And so in practice, it plays like a MOBA character set had a child with a fighting game that happens to be 3v3, this is the A deck that you have selected. So, and again, it's 100% skill-based, so everything, including heals, typically are skill shot oriented. It's super competitive. The game is played best of 5. So you try to get 3 wins with your team, first to 3 wins, and a whole match is 5 or 6 minutes. So you can sit down with 30 minutes and play 3 or 4 full fights. And it's really a lot of fun. It's super competitive, and it removes so many knowledge barrier elements that a lot of MOBAs have. You still have to learn the characters, but it's really, again, it's a hyper competitive game with direct player interaction. So as opposed to something like League or Dota, where it's certainly skill based, but some of the skills are arcane things like last hitting and so forth, and this is just like you beat your enemy. What's the matter, dear?
I bumped into the table.
Well, are we okay? I think we're still okay.
I didn't even notice.
I think we're okay. I think it was a small bump.
Okay.
Did I leave?
Yeah, you're good.
Did I leave my Sharpie here? Because I don't see it in my box anywhere. Do you see it on the table?
Yeah, there's probably a Sharpie around here somewhere. We'll find that for you. We'll take care of that after the stream's over. I think we can.
I need it now.
You need it now?
Yes.
What happens if we don't get it now?
And then I don't cross off the decks we're playing tonight.
So you wouldn't be able to do that after the stream?
No. Impossible.
Okay, all right. That might be on my desk. I actually used it on...
You took my Sharpie.
Well, I didn't realize it was your Sharpie. For those who haven't seen this place, maintaining ownership in the chaos that is this apartment is not trivial. So I'll get up and see if we can find Ian's Sharpie, lest we forget what decks he's played this evening. Probably this Sharpie.
You need another Sharpie to put your name on your Sharpie.
Yeah, you could. That's right. 2 Sharpies allows you to put a name on your Sharpie. But only
Yo,
one
dog.
Sharpie is ambiguous.
I heard you liked Sharpies.
I feel like there's nowhere to really take that.
Then I have won this conversation.
Indeed. But yeah, Battle Ride's really cool. They also have character customization, which is interesting, where there's a series of 10 to... Yeah, I think it's like 10 perks, and you pick 5 just at the start of the match that allow you to cater the character to be a play style of your choosing. That's really cool because you don't need to learn 200 items for your character. You just decide how you want to play your character, and then you go into the match. So a little bit of customization is nice, but again, it plays like a 3v3 fighting game that just happens to be from a top-down perspective. Highly recommended for people that like highly skill-based games with relatively unintimidating learning curves. Not zero.
I've never heard of this game.
It's really interesting. So it was Bloodline Champions, again, was like 5 or 6 years ago, I think. This one just came out within the past month or two. It's been in Steam Early Access or whatever for like a year, and I bought it as soon as it went in Early Access and never didn't play it once because I was super excited for it.
I lost.
Yes. I will go evens with this deck. But yeah, it popped up in my in Steam saying like, "Hey, this game's not you buy this game," and I'm like, "Oh, I already bought it! Yay!" And hey, it's actually no longer in early access; it's a real game now. And so I wanted to play it, and it's really good. And I've only been playing it for like 2 days. Did say evens. I will keep this hand and move these cards aside. Alrighty, yeah, I said keep. I'm moving my deck a little bit forward so that I can retain my eats. Yeah. All right, Mr. You has initiative. What say you?
I'm going to reveal that I have Emerald Eye in my hand. As an additional cost to play Earth Enslaved, reveal a future foe's character card from your hand ongoing. Whenever an opponent discards a card, you gain 1 endurance. I'm going to recruit Emerald Eye.
I'm going to recruit Microchip. Microchip is a 1/1. I may activate him and remove him from the game. To turn a face-up plot twist will cost 1 or less that I control face down.
I'm going to attack him for 2.
I'm going to take 2, putting my life at 48. Indeed. Here's my initiative. I'm going to choose not to play 2-drop.
Okay.
We're too cool for 2-drops. Aren't we, Ian?
I'm going to reveal Olvir. As an additional clause to play Earth Enslaved, Clost. Barber Barb.
Barber Barb.
Barber Barb. It is what I said.
That's exactly what you said.
I'm going to pass because it's your initiative. Which is not the right thing to have said just then.
True.
Did I mention the small amount of sleep I got?
You did. Do you remember what I've done so far this turn? Because I did do a thing.
You didn't recruit a 2-drop.
Oh, that's right. And then you did not also recruit a 2-drop?
Oh, yeah. I don't recruit a 2-drop. There's a lot of R's in that sentence that I didn't intend.
I think that's true. I will pass.
I will attack you for 2.
Oh, my word. I shall again become stunned, take 2 damage, pass, and then you shall pass. We're going to draw some cards. And it's great. It's great. Everything's great. Everything's great. Great, great, great. Great, great, great. Your initiative, sir.
I don't need a 3-drop either. I think this guy's good. We'll just beat you with the Emerald Eye.
Well,
I
joke's on
only
you.
got 26 more turns, 28 more turns. Math? 23 more turns? That's the one.
Yeah, I think it would go down from 25, which is what it would be at 50. That's okay. Well, joke's on you. I actually have a 3-drop. Your clever strategy won't work this turn. I guess you've got flight.
It still might.
Yeah, that's true. But you won't perfect me now. So Black Panther's concealed optional. I'm going to make him visible.
Oh, he's going to be a big Black
when he comes
Panther.
into play. He's really just an average Black Panther.
Not yet.
Search your deck for an equipment card with cost 1 or less, equip it to him, and shuffle your deck. I'm going to do all those things. I'm going to start, and I'm going to search for a War Wagon. I'm going to put that War Wagon on. He's still just a 4/4. The War Wagon says stuff about recruiting it. We don't care about that. More importantly, it says equipped character has activate, KO target stunned character. Its controller loses endurance equal to that character's cost. So it's KO and ping. It's Black Panther's driving around the city in a van.
As he does.
As he does.
I think it's called the Panther Van.
Want to combine those words, but there's not a...
The Panther?
Vanther's pretty good. I'll take Vanther. Yeah, and I'm gonna form. I'm gonna form.
You gonna form?
Like, no.
What are you gonna form? You gonna form Voltron?
Is this the they recover? Emerald Eye
Yes.
recover.
Did I not read Emerald Eye? I should read Emerald Eye.
Read some. You might have.
Whenever Emerald Eye stuns a character an opponent, I don't think I did. Stuns a character an opponent controls, recover that character this power triggers only once a turn.
Right. I'm gonna build my guards in my back row here. How do you feel about them apples?
What's your initiative? Do you then not attack?
It is in fact your initiative.
It is my initiative? Oh, then I will attack Microchip.
Oh, reinforce. Take 1.
No, my damage output is going down.
Ha ha! Victory is mine. I'm gonna draw this card.
My draw is unusual. It's not bad. I think it's going to work, but it's unusual.
I hear you. I do hear you. So, I am going to recruit that lovable scamp, Luke Cage. Luke Cage has something along the lines of big stats. He also has, I can pay 3 endurance, and he can attack hidden characters this turn. Whenever a character an opponent controls is put in the KO'd pile during the combat phase, draw a card. So there.
I'm going to recruit Glorith. Glorith has a cosmic power. Her cosmic power is free. Gain 4 endurance unless an opponent discards a card. Use this power only once a turn and only during the combat phase.
That's annoying. Right. I am going to... A bit of an imposition. I'm going to attack Emerald Eye for 8.
I will reinforce the Emerald Eye.
Yes, you will.
I'll take 1. I will pass.
I'm going to carefully read this here. Right. Okay. I'm going to flip over Hell's Kitchen. Hell's Kitchen can only be flipped if I control a Marvel Knights character. Whenever a character an opponent controls is put in the KO'd pile during the combat phase, the opponent discards a card. I'm going to attempt to KO the Emerald Eye. Which, if nothing changes, will result in you discarding 1 card of your choice and me drawing 1 card because of Luke Cage. Also, you'll be pinged for 1. That'll show you. It's not like you can gain life easily or anything.
This feels dumb and right.
Noted.
I'm going to play Altered History. Recover target stunned future foe's character control unless an opponent discards a card.
Alright, I'll discard a microchip.
Alright, I gain 2 life. Is that right? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Sadly.
Then I accept. So I'm KO'd. I will discard a card. I'll discard an Emerald Eye. Two can play that game.
Alright, so you've discarded... Yeah, we both discarded 1, but I do draw a card because of Luke Cage.
I am pinged for 1, you said?
Correct.
Which is the cost of the character, or what? What's
It is
the
the cost of the KO'd character. Yes, that is correct. I don't have anything else.
Can I gain 4 life?
Yeah. Yep. Alright, everyone, I've got Ian down to 54 life. Or endurance, as it really is, but we don't call it that. We're not chumps. Yeah, I don't have anything else. It wasn't a great turn.
What are you doing?
Oh my. Oh my. Right. Now, it is your initiative.
Interesting. That's a better character that I'm probably not going to be able to play.
True.
I'll have to go this route. I don't usually. I'm going to recruit Raz Al Ghul.
Raz Al Ghul.
Raz Al Ghul has a free... Unless an opponent discards a card, target character loses all team affiliations while defending this turn. Use this power only once per turn and only during the combat phase.
Not too keen on that. I'm going to recruit Punisher. Punisher is a boost that I'm not paying. He also gets +1/+1 while equipped. He also has a War Wagon, which costs 1 less to recruit while I control a Marvel Knights character. A formation I do need to consider. So Russell strips reinforcement, character affiliation at all times during the turn, unless I discard a card, or is it just like
I think it's Defenders.
Defenders. of course.
Yes, while defending.
While defending. So you can do it at any time. Yeah. So I think the right course is... That's interesting. This is a situation that I'm in. That's the way that I would describe it. Okay. All right, I'll bite. I'll put them all in my front row. I don't care about damage.
Huh.
It's interesting. So I'll read your microchip out loud. This is an open question. I hadn't considered this when I put him in my front row. But his power, of course, is activate, remove microchip from the game, turn a face-up plot twist with cost 1 or less you control face down. Because it doesn't specify target, do I need a valid target to pay that cost? In other words, if you attack him, could I pop him?
That's probably something Chris would know and I would not.
Right. That is why I articulated it out loud. Hopefully Chris will have an answer.
Usually you need a target, but the wording is weird. Yeah.
Yeah, the wording doesn't... It's one of those like, well, it doesn't say target. What does this mean?
Whoa.
That's actually probably a pretty meaningful question in this instance. Maybe not. Maybe you wouldn't go for him. If you think you're going to go for him, then we can prod Chris or Casey to prod Chris or Casey to somehow just know the answer to that question.
I think is the answer.
Yeah. Yeah, this is strange. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, playing HOTS. Very good. So we will probably not get an immediate answer from Chris, as HOTS is both multiplayer and not turn-based. Well, you can if we decide that you're attacking microchip, we can decide if we care enough to really.
I'm going to gain 4 endurance.
You are. It's annoying, but true. Take some solace in the fact it's not likely you'll do that too many more times.
I think I attack Black Panther with Glor. There's not a tremendously good choice for me to act on here.
I admit that's not a bad choice, the one you just did there. It's pretty solid. I'm just going to review my options, as I want to do. Yep. Yeah, that's just gonna work. I'm gonna take 3 breakthrough and 3 for this stun for a total of 6 damage. Not anything I can do about that, or nothing that I'm choosing to do about that. The riddle will remain forever. So now what do I do? That's the question. Boy, I really want to get rid of that counter. It's really, really annoying. But Russell is also an issue. Wish I had a lot more stats than I have. I think we're going to team attack Russell for 11.
Interesting. What if I make Luke Cage have no team affiliation while defending this turn? Would you discard a card to prevent that, please?
I wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to stun Punisher.
I'm 1 over you currently, unless you have a stat modification. Because he's +1/+1 while equipped.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
I'm slightly
know.
over.
Good to know. Good to know.
Which is where the attacking you for 11 came
yep.
from. So he's +1/+1.
All right. I may play Chain Lightning only if I control a future foe's character. Target attacker or defender gets -2 defense this attack, and an additional -2 defense unless an opponent discards a card. I will choose Punisher.
I will not discard a card.
Alright. And I will attempt to stun Punisher.
Yeah, work.
I will take 5.
So I will also take 5, which I'm not loving. Right. It is you.
I must pass.
I am going to play a Judge, Jury, and Executioner card, which has Marvel Knights characters you control have activate to KO target stunned character, and I will attempt to stun, or pardon me, KO Russell.
I'm going to play another Altered History X.
I must.
Or just Altered History.
That's me discarding to
you discard
stop you.
Or
I have to
recover.
do it. Yeah, I have to do it, of course. I'm going to get rid of.
To the tape.
Well, you're. It's all right. I'm gonna discard. I must stop the recovery. That's critical.
So I gain 2 more.
Yep.
But then that succeeds. And pinged.
You are not pinged, unfortunately. You've
pinged.
stunned
I
all my
discard.
war wagons, but you do have to discard one, and I get to draw one. Just to be clear, the ping happens from the war wagon. The draw for me happens from Luke Cage, and the discard for you happens from Hell's Kitchen.
Okay.
You draw my 1 card. That's all I got. Hope my character advantage starts to matter before I am killed. I will lose Black Panther. I don't have a recovery there, so you did get a character of mine as well. He's a little smaller, but nonetheless. You have initiative, though. That's going to matter a great deal. That's interesting. I was afraid of that, but there you go. So it is my initiative. I'll put down a card thus. And I got a decision here. And I think it's going to be... It's got to be that. I'm going to recruit Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow. She's a 14/9 who has Pay 1 Endurance. Characters you control can attack hidden characters this turn. She also has a Boost 1 power that's cool, but sure ain't going to matter because I ain't paying it. It's big. And I am going to form... I actually am going to put my friendship in the back this time. Just to limit your options.
I have made a Mitch play. A Mitch play!
A Mitch play has been made, everyone.
I'm going to recruit Olvir. This is going to be a long game. Olvir's power is free unless an opponent discards a card. Olvir has invulnerability this turn, uses power only during the combat phase.
Boy, that's annoying. Right. I'm with you.
I probably have to do this. That's kind of silly.
Yeah. That's interesting, yeah. That's not bad. How's this all gonna go down? Man, Olvir's a big dude.
It's a 6-drop.
It's true. Your observation is correct. Well, I don't love this situation. Punisher's going to attack Glorith for 10. That is the thing that shall happen first. This is an interesting game. Very strange. I don't know how to feel about this momentum.
Yeah,
It's
I
very
would
strange.
like to gain 4 life.
You may have 4 life. 59. Pete's sake.
Well, I'm going to eat this, so...
I know, you have to.
11?
10 is the attack.
10,
Yes.
so that will be a total of 7.
More importantly, I get rid of that blasted cosmic counter. This really is going to be like, does my character advantage matter before I'm just dead?
Really, at this point, I would like to attack Microchip, so we need an answer.
We don't.
No?
I mean, attacking Microchip is the play.
Well, I was rethinking it, but now you tipped some information, so...
Well, I mean, I had to, right? You said we need the answer, so for the game to proceed, I need to either say we don't or not.
I suppose I should commit to it then. First, of course, I will ask...
If your decision really wasn't final, you may evaluate further. There's advantages for me either way, but also disadvantages.
I stated it as though it was, but it really wasn't, which was my mistake.
Okay, fair enough.
So I will free... give Olvir invulnerability. Vulnerability.
And that lasts for the turn.
Yes.
It's interesting. I actually have to decide if I want to keep that or not. I want to give you more life. I think it's actually worth the card. That's funny. I think I give you the 2 life because if I can get a stun eventually, which is certainly on the table, I get 6 out of it. So that's a gain. So I'll discard a card.
Okay. That'll give me 2. And then, as I declared carelessly, I attack Microchip.
Well, I'm going to put it on the table. You can reconsider if you really want.
It's
because if you attack Punisher, I have a reinforcement option. It saves me a lot of life.
No, this is okay.
That's fair. I do have another.
And this also gets rid of your reinforcement options. So
That's
terrible.
I'm going to take a lot of damage. I can't stop the damage. But I do have Marvel Knights characters I control have activate to KO target stunned character, and I will attempt to KO Glorith. You're not pinged, but you do have to discard an item control.
Okay.
So I'm going to do that.
This is starting to get costly. You're out discarding my discard deck, Kyle.
It's very weird.
That's annoying.
And then I'm going to take 13 damage.
Oh, you're not going to pop him. Fascinating.
Yeah, I used him for the KO.
Gotcha. Okay.
13 damage. I am at 21.
Then I don't regret the attack I declared.
I'm going to attack Olvir. 14.
Yep. I think we're stunned, and then you can use Luke Cage to KO him.
I sure can.
Oof.
But I'm going to take another 6 damage, and I'll be at 15.
Oof. Oh yeah, that's effective. Yeah. 14, so I'm going to take 9 from that.
Yeah, I will take 6. I am at 15, and I'm going to attempt to KO.
Do I discard again?
We'll discard a card.
Man,
I
oh
will
man.
draw a card.
That is terrible.
I hope it matters.
Jeez.
It may not. How many cards are in your hand?
1.
Well, it's one more than I wish you had. I got a lot of cards. We'll see what happens.
That's annoying.
I do lose, of course, Microchip. It is going to be your initiative, too.
So another huge momentum swing, which is what made last week very disappointing.
This card. It is your initiative.
Have Olvir.
More Olvir.
And it's frustrating because I'm playing a discard deck and you have 7 cards in your hand.
It's very silly. It is very
And I don't
silly.
even know, like, you only KO'd 3 dudes, so you should be not having 7
I
cards.
drew
in your
3,
hand.
so I should have 4. And I've discarded 2.
You played 2 equipment.
Did I draw 1 extra time? Is that actually possible? I haven't put down a resource yet this turn.
Sure. Well, I guess it's not that far off.
I did search for 1 card with Panther. He was one of the 2 equipment. So I played 1 equipment from my hand. But you can watch me on the replay.
Woof.
Maybe I drew 1 extra time. I can't rule out that I have to.
God, we're supposed to be playing good cards tonight. None of this shenanigans.
Well, this is weird.
I almost want to move on to the next game.
We can't. I mean, you got to do only 15 damage. I got a Doctor Strange. He's better played on 8, but I have to play him now for the character advantage. He does have loyalty, and at the start of the combat phase, I can move any number of characters I control to my hidden area. Maybe I move Punisher and lose the War Wagon and just have a big wall. You calling it?
Yeah.
Whew. I lucked out that you didn't have a 7-drop. It might have been the
I don't think you did. You removed all the cards from my hand.
I don't know if... I mean, that's a situation
I would have
where
had to have top decked him, right?
Or had a reservist. I don't remember what that deck has.
Those types of games are the types of games that aren't fun, where you make a tremendously large play, and then like back and forth games are fun, right?
Sure.
When you make like I make the power play, and then it's just like, oh, there's nothing I can do. That's what you've been doing for a while.
That's so... that one's dumbfounding to me. You got me down to 15 life. The whole game is like, am I dead, or do I win the KO game first?
You won the KO game.
I did, sure. But that's what the race was the whole time. I was one turn from death. So, I don't know. Any game that feels like it's one turn to me, I'm always surprised when it feels so terrible. Like if you played a 7-drop...
You stopped what my deck did.
You know.
You removed all of my cards and all of my characters.
Well, it doesn't matter if I lose.
But you weren't ever close to losing.
Well, if you'd had a 7-drop, and you stripped reinforcement...
Okay, that's a lot of ifs.
Well, I mean, you got it in the deck. I guess I built up cards so I can stop some of your reinforcement strip.
It doesn't matter. I don't have reinforcement strip. You saw my reinforcement strip.
Sure. Well, it's Russell and that one plot twist.
I don't think I have a plot twist.
Oh, it's just Russell?
I may. I don't remember.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah, I thought you were just going to hit through Punisher and I might be dead.
Well, I'm going to hit through Punisher and you're not dead. There's literally no way you could die. In fact, your best play is...
I could hide Punisher.
Yeah, you just hide your team.
I lose the equipment.
You hide your team, I hit you for 13, and then you win.
Well, I didn't have enough damage on the table to kill you. So
I think you did. I think you did.
You have 45 lives, sir. I had 10, 15, that's 25, 8.
All of you.
I had about 35.
Yeah, I think you had, if not enough, but it wouldn't matter.
I would have gotten you on 8 if you didn't have, like, stuff.
Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Like I said, sometimes things seem closer because I don't know what you have at your disposal. You had a whole resource
but
again, face down.
that shouldn't have felt that way. Like, you were so advantaged in every aspect of this game you could be advantaged in, except life. Yes. But you weren't so low on life that I could kill you this turn.
Again, I didn't know that. That's where you knew that and I didn't. I feel like a swing for 15 on turn 7 isn't off the table, especially if I hide my whole team. I think I have to leave someone visible to soak the damage.
Well, I'm going into 15 with no characters.
Sure.
Or it's not to 15, whatever turn this is.
Turn 15.
So you're expecting me to swing for 15 with whatever I can play from my hand.
A 7-drop and a plot twist?
Oh, Chris is around for the question.
Oh, yeah. So the question was, I had a character named Microchip who says, activate and return Microchip to owner's hand to turn a face-up plot twist you control of cost 1 or less face down. The wording of the card does not include the word target. So can I pay the cost without a 1-cost plot twist face down? Because the payment is activate and return to your hand. The effect is flip a face-up plot twist you control with cost 1 or less face down. So yeah, a lot of things, right, you can't trigger them if you don't have a valid target, but because the wording didn't have target in it, I wasn't sure if that is circumvented. That is the question.
Give me a tier.
I will give you 2 decks.
That one.
Take this one. That's actually not a deck I was planning to play. When it was played the previous time. That's the deck I was just playing. I'll get this.
That one.
That's the one I'm playing. This is an S tier deck. I will say, Chris, I'm inspired a little bit by your HOTS playing. The fact that we almost have a game overlap, and we had it for like 2 weeks, was very exciting, and then my computer broke, and I haven't gotten back into it. So I may yet feel compelled so we can do some fun gaming together. Well, that would be good times. All right, the verdict is in. Because it doesn't have target, then yeah, technically. If it were worded better, yeah, that's fair. Flip up to 1 target plot twist, yeah. Yep, it's fair. It actually did not end up mattering. The circumstances were that I used him for other things. But now we know. Game Deuce. To be fair, you did challenge us to have worse cards.
Oh, I don't think it's worse so far. But
Okay.
it's
Not a
kind
great
of
start.
it's kind of par for the course.
Okay.
I'm in a terrible rut. I would like to get out of the rut, Kyle. I would like to get out of the rut, and you also have a good game, because that's the only thing that's been happening.
Right.
Is I'm in the rut, or you're
Or
just
I'm in the rut.
completely destroyed
Yep.
mostly by your draws, I think.
Most of the
pushing,
rut
like
draws.
I think that was going on even before last week a little bit. I think we're pushing like 5 or 6 games where that's kind of what's been going on.
Yeah.
So stop it.
Yeah, we should
Stop it.
You,
Kyle.
You stop it. Dad.
You stop it. You stop.
I'm going to use an extra
Stop.
shuffle just to fix these cards so that they're not terrible.
We're boring our streamers, and by that I mean, yes, us. We're bored, Kyle. We're boring our viewers.
That works.
Nobody watches this part of the stream anyway.
I'm going to go evens, and by evens I mean outer die. And then I'm going to go evens. Surprise.
That's almost workable. I'm tempted to keep it because you hate this card a lot.
Well, it makes me feel better. I'm not keeping mine. So there.
Almost workable.
Aw. You going for it? You in the keep?
Keep it, yeah.
Keep it, okay. Huh. I don't know why, but I drew 5 cards, so I'm going to only draw 1 now. See, that's how it happened last time. Alright, you have the initiative.
I'm going to play
Oh, a card.
reveal that I have
That's a card.
Optitron. Pay 1 resource point and discard a Teen Titans character card from your hand. You think it's going to blow your mind. You're going to discard Red Star.
Oh, Lord.
Search your deck for a Teen Titans character card, reveal it, and put it in your hand. Shuffle your deck. Use this power only once per turn. I'm going to go get Cole.
Yeah. Alright. Okay. Alright. Okay.
And then I recruit no one because I spent my resource point.
Well, I shall not spend a resource point, so that I have one to spend on no one. I will pass.
Okay.
Draw some cards. This next turn is going to be suspect uneventful. I am going to put down a resource. That's the first thing I'm going to do. We're going to put down this resource. And then I'm going to recruit my 2-drop, Forge. Forge is a 2/2 who has Energize. I can activate him to put a 1/1 counter on another target character I control. As a reminder for those at home, Energize means whenever he defends, he is readied.
I have Cole. Teen Titans characters I control get +1 defense for each stunned character I control.
I will pass.
Cole will attack Forge. I will reveal that I have Tamaran. Activate, put the top card of your deck into your KO'd pile, power up target Teen Titans attacker or defender.
I don't think this game's going to go well for me. You are getting a good setup. So your attack is 2. All right, I get stunned for 2. And I'm not going to do anything with this Energize.
Well, if that's the case, now are you having a bad draw, or is it just...
Got to survive a little longer, and then it might be okay. But I got to survive a little longer before
This
it
will
stops
be
being
the
good.
second game where I feel like these guys are kind of working in this tier, so maybe they always should have been in this tier.
Maybe so. Maybe so. That is unfortunate for me. Initiative away.
I have initiative?
Yeah.
I'm going to boost Hank Hall.
Oh my.
When Hank Hall comes into play, I'm sorry, while Dawn Granger, period, while you control Dawn Granger, Hank Hall gets +2/+2. Boost 1. When Hank Hall comes into play, search your deck for Dawn Granger.
Right on. Just coming back.
Whoop.
Okay, so
Dawn Granger says, while you control Hank Hall, Dawn Granger gets +1/+1.
Indubitably. also at 48. I should adjust the old 10s column. Not playing the future foes. I do not have a 3-drop.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's not good.
It is not good. I will attack Forge with Hank Hall, whom I will power up with 10 iron.
I will take 4. 5. 8. Simple math.
And then I will team attack you for
3 more?
3.
40. 40 is the
Yeah,
number.
that is not. You are an Avendra, right?
Well, it's funny. The curse of my S decks has always been I miss early stuff and then fall behind, and you always make your early S deck drops.
I don't think that's.
It's the way it feels.
Always do. Sure.
It's like if I fall behind.
I'm sure I do
one turn,
often,
get
and
pummeled.
if you fall behind, it's certainly something you can focus on.
I do have a 4-drop. Thank goodness. It's Quicksilver. Quicksilver does have Reservist and Energize, and when he's ready, characters I control have Reinforcement. So that's cool. And I am informed.
I'm thinking.
Yep.
I'm going to play a short-term game.
It's a good time for it.
I'm going to recruit Terra.
Oh my.
Terra's got loyalty, and her power is... It's weird she has loyalty, because she's the one
Yeah.
who betrayed the Titans. She has... Activate, long form, replace a location you control. If you do, stun target character with a cost of 3 or less.
Be very useful in this context.
I'm going to replace Optitron and stun Forge.
I will put a counter on Quicksilver. And then I'm stunned for 2. Ow. Right. I'm gonna attack Hank for 8. I'm gonna deal a little damage here. Get him, Quicksilver.
I'm going to power up Hank Hall.
I'm with you so far.
And then I'm going to play Heroic Sacrifice.
Oh my.
Is that the right thing to do? So he's 5 defense. Maybe it's not the right thing to do.
Sorry,
This is
it's a
not
5
even going to hit.
defense?
He's not going to hit very hard. Your attack is 8 v my 5 defense.
Correct.
So I'll just power him up again.
Sorry, your defense is
5.
5. So you gain a bonus from having exhausted characters to defense?
I powered him up once already this attack.
Oh, right, because of the
And
thing.
now I powered him up again. So he is a
6.
6/6.
Right, okay.
I will take 4. I accept that.
Yep, okay. I'm with you.
First damage.
Yes, sweet, sweet damage.
But then I'm going to pass.
Yep. Yep. I'm going to keep Forge around. He's a bit of a liability, but he's going to make other dudes bigger, and that is useful. That is useful. guess it's your initiative. I guess.
Yep. I have Red Star.
Yep.
Red Star has 2 powers. Red Star's powers are: whenever Red Star becomes powered up, he cannot be stunned while attacking this turn. And pay 1 resource point, target player loses 5 endurance. Use this power only once per turn and only if you control another Teen Titans character. I will use this power now.
Now. Yep. Yep. And are you formed?
Yep.
I do have Rachel Summers, Marvel Girl. Pardon me. She has target shift. She also has energize. I should have shifted her. I didn't think about that. I think she's the only card with shift in the deck. I could have shifted her a long time ago.
Yeah.
So whoops.
It's hard to think in those terms.
It's very hard to think about shift in the non-shift deck, but it is that set, and there's like random characters all around that have it. Okay, so notwithstanding that mistake, I may activate her, and target player discards a card. You can only use that during the combat phase, and only if I control another Starjammers or X-Men character, and I do. That's actually important. Starjammers or X-Men. He's X-Factor and Avengers, but Forge is X-Men.
What are her stats?
Sorry, she is a 9/9 with flight range.
Okay.
Do I want to protect her? No, I actually don't. I don't. As a reminder, anytime I can give a character that is not Forge a 1/1 counter.
Right.
Yep. As a reminder, characters I control do have reinforcement while Quicksilver is ready. So that's cool.
This is getting tricky. It's getting tricky.
Well, I think I'm down, but I'm still in S-Deck, so hopefully I'll make it interesting for you.
I'm going to attack Quicksilver with Red Star. I'm going to power him up so he can't be stunned while attacking.
Right. So you
That
have...
was the last of my Blackfires.
I'm okay with that. So you have...
Tier.
8
Just have
is
to
your
get me
attack.
Garth.
So I have to decide if I should choose to... because you're powered up, you can't be stunned. To choose if I put a counter on him, or if I fire a reservist, or pardon me, energize power. So he has no activation. I do have captive audience. Target character gets +1 attack this turn. Boost. Exhaust a character you control. If captive audience is in your resource row, you may turn it face down. So I get to give somebody, and then I energize. +1 attack for the turn.
I see. Oh, he's energized but no activated power?
Correct.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I will give that to... That's actually interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Rachel Summers.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna make you do something else.
I will further power him up.
Okay. You got a lot of red star this game. It's your 3rd red star.
Is it? It might be.
I think the first card you put in there was a red star. Yeah, you discarded red star to search for someone. Yeah, well, I guess I figured you'd have something else. That's gonna work. Ugh. Ugh. I take 4. 29. I am gonna attack. Interesting. Terra is a threat, but if I attack her, you can immediately pop her to stun Forge. I'm gonna attack Hank Hall for 10. Get some damage out of this at least. Such an interesting card. Yeah.
Alright. I guess I'll play. This might be useful later. Oh, I'll play it now. As an additional cost to play Heroic Sacrifice, stun a non-defending Teen Titans character you control.
Oh my.
Exhaust target Teen Titans defender you control, and remove all attackers from this list.
Oh wow. That's pretty potent. Alright.
I'm going to attack Forge with Terra.
Well, already, so that's cool. I gotta at least look at how many dudes you have over.
I think it's 5.
4, 5. It is 6.
I think it's 6.
6 is the number.
Alright, make sure you're not counting Blackfire.
Oh, unaffiliated. Touche. 5 it is. Unless there's multiple
It might be 4.
Blackfires.
There are 2 Blackfires.
There are 2
It
Blackfires.
was just 4.
4 is the number. 29 is my health total. I'm gonna flip. I'm gonna flip first class. To play, exhaust a character you control. Recover target stunned X factor character you control.
Well, that's super good. They can attack.
They cannot attack, but I can discard a card to ready them, which I will do. And characters I control have reinforcement while Quicksilver is ready.
Oh, you're reinforcing Forge and not losing a character. Clever.
So I still take 2
not getting
from
a
the
counter,
stun.
but it's still a pretty good play.
Still a pretty good play. Now I have Quicksilver ready. I don't think I can make anything of that. But it was cool.
It was cool.
Yeah, I do have to pass.
Alright.
You should attack Rachel
no,
Summers.
for sure. That was it.
Yeah.
I was going to make you nervous by pretending I was going to do something with Cole.
That's fair.
Some
That's
one
fair.
attack.
That is terrifying. Alright, so that was Cole. I'm going to draw some cards like this card.
Yeah, that's useful.
Oh, that card is amazing, but I didn't get it earlier in the game, and that makes me sad. So how do I do this? Yeah, it's got to be that, because it's always that. Is there a reason to make it not that? Yes. Wow, that's interesting. So expensive. Red Star. Alright, I'm going to put down a resource. Start there. Then I'm going to recruit Strong Guy. Strong Guy is a 12/12. He does not have Energize. He says whenever I use a character's activated power, he gets a 1/1 counter. And I will form like this.
I whiffed, so this is going to be a change in momentum here. I will pay 5 to ping you, or pay 1 to ping you for 5.
Yep.
I will also recruit a T-Jet to...
Oh, Lord T-Jet. No!
Maybe Cole. That's interesting. I want to keep Red Star around, but you're going to attack him right away.
Red Star. Yeah. Gotta get Red Star.
I can protect him, but you have flight on dudes and stuff.
I do only have flight on one character. Not that that's it's definitely as a dude or dudette in the case of Rachel Summers.
Cage?
In the case of Summers. Cage of Rachel.
All right, so I'm gonna do this. I didn't put it down. Cool.
We didn't cool.
And I'm gonna adjust my formation thus.
Sure.
And the T-Jet is unique and transferable. Characters I control have flight, and whenever a Teen Titans character I control becomes powered up, that character gets an additional +1/+1.
Boy, that is unfortunate in my circumstance.
I think I would have preferred a 6-drop, but it's not.
You
it's
are
not a
right.
terrible
There are worse whiffs. I guess that's a lot of unspent resource points. The T-Jet was free to play, or did it technically cost 1?
It costs 1.
It does cost 1.
There's no way to reduce its cost.
So you spent 2, so that's definitely a boon in my favor. But can I capitalize on it? You have a lot of your setup. I do think I have to go for Red Star. He's the only character I know with certainty is unstunnable on attack. I think I can I either get whoever you attack with, or I get to fire Forge twice, which is probably more likely, because then you get a stun and not a stunned character, but yeah, Rachel has to go for Red Star, and I do not. You get double power ups on attacker or defender.
Yep, just double power ups.
That means you could actually counter stun on my attack, which I don't like. Does can you fire that on attack or defense?
Yep.
What's annoying is that still could be the correct play. That's silly. Yeah, we're gonna do it. I'm gonna attack Red Star. I'm gonna make you do stuff. I feel like I love that Rachel Summers has a discard power, but she's so much better as an attacker like 90% of the time. I guess it's still a deterrent for you to attack her, but I always end up using her for attack because of flight. Primarily.
I'm going to stop this attack. I'm trying to figure out why.
You're going to stop the attack.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Which informs how.
That's terrifying. Alright, well, good luck. Show me how it's done, Maestro. I'm playing an S-Deck too. I got crafty shit.
I think I can deal with anything you have except for Strong Guy. So I will stop the attack to have Red Star as an attacker to deal with Strong Guy.
What is going on?
Is that what's happening here?
Or are you doing the fizzle thing? Oh, the fizzle thing.
So
now you have to exhaust Red Star to do the fizzle
on the
thing.
table you can make Strong Guy a 14/14, which is not anything to sneeze at.
It's true. I would not sneeze on Strong Guy.
Quite a large number.
Quite a large Strong Guy.
Compared to my 4 drops and less.
No, that's true. That's true. It's a fair distinction. But we both know your deck has not trivial stat modification. One of the things that makes that, I think, a valid S deck is the magnitude of stat modification combined with horrifying, unstoppable powers.
So I'm going to play a Shape Change.
Yeah, okay. All right, I'm with you.
Put the top card of your deck into your KO'd pile. It's not so hot. Target defender gets a -X attack and +X defense, where X is the cost of the card you put in your KO'd pile this way.
And that is for the attack, is that correct?
That is for the attack, yes.
All right, so your defense is now up to 8.
I'm going to do it again. That's better. Now my defense is 13.
13.
And my attack is 0.
Right. Your attack is 0. 13. So the number I need to reach is 13, and I currently have 9. So I'm going to play X-Babies Attack. X-Baby's attack says target attacker you control gets +1 attack as attack for each ready character I control, which is 3. I'm then going to put a counter on Rachel Summers, which puts a counter on Strong Guy.
So what is your attack?
It is 13.
I will reinforce Red Star.
I'm with you so far.
Then I will reveal that I have the card that you hate. Activate target defender with reinforcement gets +1 defenses attack. If it's a Teen Titans defender, it gets +3 defenses attack instead.
That is an obnoxious card. It's an obnoxious card. That, sir, is an obnoxious card. I'm going to peruse my cards. You still have a power-up on the board, too, if you want it.
Technically, effectively 2 power-ups.
2 power-ups.
Well, it's times 2 power.
Right, yes. 1 power-up that is 2 power-ups. Right. And you just gave yourself 3. So I'm going to play Vocal Minority, as though we haven't gone ham enough. Target X-Factor attacker gets
Oh,
He's
I'm
not
sorry.
X-Factor.
I'm sorry. It always sucks when that happens.
That is unexpected and unfortunate. Man, is that gonna do me in? I had not anticipated that. That is a sad scenario.
Psst. I now have 6 cards in my cat pile.
Yes, that work. My attack fizzles.
Okay.
Boy, that's disappointing. Stupid team stand. Rachel Summers. Cruel world.
So how much or how little do I dedicate to dealing with Strong Guy? He's a 13-13, and again, I think you can only get him to a 14-14.
Currently, on the board, if nothing changes, I cannot boost his stats.
Oh, he has no activated power.
Well, 13 isn't too far from 14, but yes.
He's big. So big.
I can't believe before that attack because I was team stamp. At least it cost you 2 shape changes.
Well, I kind of want to play them anyway, right?
I guess that's true.
Man, I just got to take him off the table. That's too bad.
That's a big attack.
So these 2 by themselves are 13, and these 2 paired are 6, and I have +2 on somebody, which interestingly exactly matches all of the defense you have on the table, but I ain't playing it that way.
That's a poor choice in this scenario.
I think I might attack him with everybody.
Sure.
I think that's the play.
Yeah, it ain't bad.
So maybe I'll leave Terra out of it. I'll leave Terra out of it.
Okay.
We'll attack with everybody but Terra,
Okay.
and I will power up Red Star.
Sure. So that I can't get him.
I power up Terra. I don't quite get the counter stun raw. Okay, that's right. That's what I do. Oh, I sure wish I didn't put that on top of my deck.
I sure hope you don't top deck into another. You could. All right. So you tell me your attack number.
2
again.
more. It is currently 9, 13, 15. Wow, that's not even.
You're over by 2.
That's not a lot. I'm going to throw Terra in. In which case, I'll still do the power up that way. That's
Sure.
fine. That's fine.
Okay. That's a bigger difference. You're 21. And your cards are partially on the floor.
I'll be back.
But 21 is the number. I can't stop 21.
That's alarming.
No, sorry. I said I can't stop.
It's alarming the way you phrased that.
Oh, I see. I see. Fair.
There's 20, sure.
All right,
21.
Right. 21. I will attempt to deal the damage to Terra. I still think that's the right
good.
choice. You take 6. I'm rolling in life here. And that puts me at 16. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I gotta swing it at Hank, of course.
Right, I think I have nothing interesting to do with this play.
My attack is 9. You're gonna soak a good chunk of it.
So my defense is 6.
I apologize. I should have captive audienced Quicksilver, which was my intention.
I don't know what that means.
So sorry, that's the... I give +1 attack to somebody for the turn, and if I exhausted Strong Guy, which I did because I didn't use him for anything else.
Okay, sure, whatever.
So my attack is +1.
So my defense is 6. What's your attack? I'm sorry?
It is counting the +1, which you're generously allowing.
6.
And a big swing. I guess I get a character.
I think I still lose him, even though...
Yeah, I think so.
Even though what's her name? Dawn becomes 10.
But you've got initiative, so if you really want, you can get her stunned early.
Yep, that's how I should use my initiative, is stunning Dunn Granger. Good advice, Kyle.
Throw in your team attack.
I really feel like you're looking out for my
I'm
best
looking out for your
interests.
best interests here. Clearly. Clearly. Close of May. That's odd. That's funny. That's funny. Hilarious. And I sure wish I had more than 16 life, and I sure don't like that. That's what I don't like. It is your initiative. Another thing I don't like.
Yep.
I ain't out of it, but it's going to be real difficult to pull this one out.
Have an initiative.
Yep. If you didn't get any of your insta-stun characters, I've got a shot. Maybe not a good shot.
I have a choice. It's rare to have a choice on turn 7.
Rare to get to turn 7 against your deck. That happened only because you missed
I missed
6.
some important pieces.
That's true. Well, 6 is the huge. I guess you missed 6 and Garth. Both of which are 6. Garth just means you get 6.
No comment.
Fair enough.
There is a more important piece that I missed than either of those.
Intriguing. I do not recall what that piece is. Oh, maybe I know. Maybe I know? There's a lot of horrifying things in that
We'll
deck.
do, and then that, and then that. Doing the Kyle Tunison special.
Everyone loves Kyle Tennyson special.
Do I make a play for that? That's
Don't do
so
that.
crazy.
Madness.
It would be so much fun if it worked.
Madness.
I'm not even sure how to do it.
Me neither.
I have no idea what you can recruit. Probably crazy stuff.
I sure hope it's crazy
Your top
stuff.
ends of your decks are pretty crazy.
They get nutty. It's the price I pay for missing a bunch of early drops, I think.
Like, with what's on the table, that's a really cool play, but it's going to get scarier. It's going to get a lot scarier.
This is a rare time where perhaps, like, you
I
having
can't
the
believe
first...
you still have Forge. Come
yeah,
on
that
now.
is actually strange. I'm sort of uncomfortable with that. He's a liability, but he's real useful.
Strong Guy's going to be so big.
It's going to be really big.
And if I attack the 5-drop, I discard 2 cards.
That's true. Or probable. It's probable.
Which means I can't take advantage of that. There's so much wrong, Kyle. But then I make you play into this, which might change the calculus. All right, well, we're going to try it.
Okay.
I'm gambling. I'm
Lord.
legit gambling here. I'm going to recruit Raven, whom I
my
rarely
God.
actually recruit.
Oh, my word.
And Raven's power is pay 1 endurance.
Oh, my.
Characters
Oh, my.
and locations target player controls cannot ready this turn.
Oh, my
Use
God.
this power only during the recovery phase.
The gamble is we see turn 8 and my whole team's exhausted. Oh, my word.
Woo!
Interesting.
Which is it's less useful against an energized deck.
Right. I have a very, very strange decision to make now as well. I have a choice. I can attempt to play aggressively. It seems like it would be such an egregious error to not play aggressively, since you can keep me exhausted. So if I don't play aggressively, and we see I'm in big trouble. I think that's what it boils down to. So I have to play as aggressively as possible. In that case, that means, oddly, recruiting Jean Grey. Jean Grey has Energize, Activate, Recover target stunned character you control. She's also gigantic. She's a 16/16 with flight range. In terms of Energize powers, there's better ones, but I think big stats is the correct choice here. Interesting. Though, I have to ask a question, though, and feel free to correct this assessment. Raven's power says use only during the recovery phase.
Mm-hmm.
So theoretically, if I get her stunned and you don't have a way to recover her, I can prevent you from doing that.
Yes, I must get to the recovery phase with her unstunned to use her power.
So it may affect how I form. I guess you have flight on everybody right now because of the TJ. I can't
That's
stop
true.
you from getting to Jean Grey if you want.
That's true.
This is that consequential. I'm going to form like this. This is an interesting one. Boy, I may not be without tricks, but I got 16 life, so let's see how this goes. So shall be novel either way. How much life do you have to have? One life?
One life.
So that means
So I also must get to the recovery phase with one life. Or more, I guess probably more than one life. Probably 2 life.
Right.
When is the lose check? It's the end of the recovery phase. So I need 2 life.
Yes, that's correct. You need 2 life if you want to fire her power, 1 life if you want to see next turn. That's assuming you can't kill me. You can deal... You can definitely deal a good chunk of damage. Easily. But it might not be 16 easily. It's going to be weird. I have no idea how this turn is going to go. The card that I hate is +3 defense while reinforced if you're Teen Titans.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a big deal.
But I have to cut some of this other stuff close too. This might not actually be very close.
Well, right now it feels close.
Well, based on all the crap you've been able to play, like I have to assume you can do. So here's why it's crazy. I have to attack your 5-drop with Raven. That is the only shot I have at getting her to the recovery phase.
Oh, interesting.
So I have to hope you can't
Clever.
boost your attack by 3 more.
Huh. That's really clever.
And yes, I know it cost me the rest of the cards in my hand.
Yeah, so now I have to decide if I ditch your cards, which I might, or if I have some other use. Not obvious. No, I think it's obvious. I think I must do it. Let's do it. It's a very odd thing I will tell you at the end of this game. I am going to fire her power twice.
And I lose my cards.
So
Okay.
you must discard your cards, and the strong guy
I have
take her.
no hand.
I do take 5 from that. She is reinforced from Quicksilver, but that puts me at 11. Right. Not ecstatic about this. I've got to hit Red Star. Because there is a very strong chance that he can actually take out a character of mine. And I won't be able to stop it. So who with? Well, that's actually a novel question. You can get 5 defense on the table. 5 freaking defense on the table.
If I wanted the table to have 5 defense,
Then you could.
okay.
Which means I have to go way over, which is a total waste because you can just reinforce with coal. Which is peeving. That sure is peeving. I'm going to describe that as peeving. If I do it with Quicksilver, you can go over my attack. Maybe even get the counter stun. That seems likely. So I just have to go way the hell over top. I'll make you discard. Man. But all of this being said, if I don't get to Raven, you're going to get to fire your power.
That's my play. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm trying.
I must attack Red Star. God, that's awful. Because if I go straight for Raven, you can reinforce her. Get +3 attack, power up double. All those things I don't want. I don't want any of those things. I want none of them. I want none of those things. I do have one other play. Which is I go for Cole with Jean Grey, which removes your defensive buff and your ability to double power up. Then you would go Red Star for Quicksilver. If that's successful, then I don't get to Raven again. You can afford to eat the damage. Boy, you have done a good job at making this an immense challenge.
This is a good game. I feel clever for what I am doing. So.
That's good. All right, so
I don't know if it's going to work, but I feel
no,
like
this is definitely
I played it really well.
Your formation is very smart. So the last piece of the puzzle I do need to consider is you can't reinforce Red Star. Because if you do, you're giving up 3 defense on Raven. Unless you have another means of reinforcement, which isn't likely. That's interesting. I think I have to risk eating some damage to get Red Star with Quicksilver. Which is not up. If I do that, I still have 2 big dudes on the table. Which is what I need to get through to Raven. So if I don't die, we see next turn. I think I will be at an advantage next turn, unless you top deck into an insta-stun, which would be bad for me. Last evaluation.
You still have to get Raven.
That's right.
Plan? Okay.
Yeah, I think it is likely that I can get Raven if I can remove Red Star from the board and still have 2 big attackers. You could actually team attack one of my big attackers. That's something that you could do. So does that just mean I go for Terra and soak a hit from stupid Red Star? That's stupid. How much can Red Star do? He can do a lot. But he can't do that much as long as Quicksilver is ready. Boy, you've made this intricate. So I think the correct play is to use Jean Grey on Terra. Is that the correct play? That's not bad. You can't reinforce her, so I'm going to deal you a bunch. Which I like. And it removes an attacker from the board, which I like. You still have stupid Red Star. And if you use Red Star, you've removed a reinforcer from your board. You probably can't kill me with Red Star. I have to bank that you can't kill me with Red Star. We're attacking Terra with Jean Grey. I'm going to start taking some action. We'll see what happens.
Right.
You don't have a duplicate location, which isn't off the table. Terra's power would be very high cost in this instance. You need both of those locations. Currently, I am as printed the 1616. Now I place the onus back upon you. He is a strong guy, Chris. He is indeed. That is my response to your statement from 19 minutes ago.
Yup. Oh, God.
It's been a high focus game.
I am going to take it, obviously. I'm deciding whether or not to fire Terra.
So not a trivial question. Depends on what else you have, of course. Oh, but even more interestingly, even if you have a duplicate location, you'd be costing yourself a resource to do it.
No, she doesn't KO resource. She replaces.
Oh, she replaces. Okay.
So there is a chance she can improve my board state.
Right. It's hard to imagine an improvement on top of those two locations, unless, because she's replaced a location, correct?
Yes.
So you have to lose something that has consequential value. The fact you're considering it.
Using her power is a net loss of 3 for me, but I'm in a bad position either
Sure.
way. I think I need to not use her power.
Yeah, it's a high cost unless you have a duplicate of the locations.
This is going to come down to one play.
I feel you.
So your attack is 16.
It is, yeah.
My defense is 7.
Yeah.
So I will take 9 and 4,
Yeah.
which is 13.
It's a big swing.
22.
It's funny because even when it comes down to that one play simply could be the difference between seeing turn 8 and not. Though I'm certainly at a disadvantage if we do, because my characters may not be ready. But even if I successfully stun Raven, the odds are very good I'm not going to kill you. Which in turn means the odds are good that we will see next turn.
I don't have to cut everything so dang close. I have to team attack Quicksilver.
Oh my.
And power up a Red Star.
Interesting. You're team attacking Quicksilver for 10. Now that is interesting. Because if I fire Forge to make it closer, that's one less counter on Strong Guy.
One more counter on Strong Guy.
Well, if I fire Forge on Strong Guy, he gets 2 counters. If I fire Forge on Quicksilver, Strong Guy gets 1 counter.
Right.
So I need to think a little bit about this.
Importantly, this is factored into my calculus and maybe has not yet into yours. It removes Quicksilver as an attacker, or Forge as an attacker.
Right. That's true. Yeah, the cases I could include Forge in an attack. Because I do need to be sure. Oh, what's interesting about this is in additional factors, I could choose to deal the damage to Red Star to prevent...
I have powered up Red Star, so you may not stun him.
but
just
I
to not
may-
do anything.
Because Cole...
To reduce Cole's effective power.
Yes.
Right, gotcha. That's true. That's probably a smart play, honestly.
Might be. Unless I think I can swing over sufficiently.
Yay, we're having a good game. I'm so happy. I don't think it's going to go my way. I'm cutting it really
yeah.
freaking close on every play this turn.
Yeah.
But we still have 2 more.
We do at that. We do at that. I'm going to play a captive audience and pay the boost turn down. I'm going to give someone an attack this turn.
Right.
And then energize fires. I will choose strong guy. I'm just going to use this as a representative of the one for the turn.
Okay.
Like put it on the card for no reason. So I need to think a little bit about how much defense you can muster that I can see. I'm in big trouble if you got another shape change and pull something even remotely decent, which is likely if you have another shape change, which you can't rule out. So let's assume you have a shape change. I need to assume worst case. And let's assume realistic worst case, which is a little bit back, and that you play your shape change and you get, say, 3 defense.
I will be a tremendously good friend, and I will tell you the statistical average of the
like 2.5.
value of shape change in my deck, which I have calculated. And you're correct. It's 2.5.
I thought I remembered that, but I was not. So I'm going to assume 3. We'll assume 3. So if you roll 3 defense, you got 3 defense from the reinforcement.
I've already played 2 shape changes.
Right.
I don't think there's any in my KO pile. That would be crazy.
Now there is yet even another bizarre possibility. Boy, that's an effing long shot. What if I can get Cole with Forge?
That is a long shot.
Seems unlikely. Your defense would be if I... So
now,
to get there,
now that Terra is down,
right.
that's a viable play.
It's
It was not
well,
while she was unstunned.
viable may be a stretch. So...
First of all, he doesn't have flight.
That's right. So I'd have to stun Granger, which would also give Cole an additional defense. She would also have an additional defense from the stunned Terra. You have, however, used your power-up defense. Your location would only give you 1 additional defense.
I can't power her up, or I can't reinforce her. Something like that. This location does nothing for Cole.
Oh, I thought it was 1 if not
No,
reinforced.
it's 1 if not Teen Titans.
Ah, but always requires reinforced.
Yes.
So you would have 6 defense.
I mean, unless these 3 cards give me a way to give her a reinforcement.
Right.
I suppose is the factor you need to consider. Attacking Cole? I don't even
It's
understand.
It's fine.
I don't know how you attack Dawn and Cole. Unless this attack fizzles.
Dawn, I don't attack. I stun her now since you are attacking with her.
Ah, okay, yes, right. I'm with you. I get it.
So yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I put 1 attack here. On 4.
I see. Okay. Yeah. How about that?
Maybe that's the right play.
Interesting.
That's weird.
That's so funny.
And that might be the play I have to make. Look at my hand here. Boy, it's not. Oh. That's really weird. We're going to try for it. So I'm going to deal the damage to Dawn Granger.
That's such a big swing. That might get...
It's a very odd critical play, if that be the case. So I do take the stun, which is 4 damage. You did a team attack, so I don't take any breakthrough, so I'm at 7. Here comes the ham. Okay. Forage is going to attack Cole.
Okay.
So your defense is currently 6.
Yeah.
Don't know what else you have, so I'm going to swing for the fences. I do have 1 big swing card that I couldn't use earlier. Target X Factor attacker gets +3 attack this attack. Boost. Discard up to 2 additional cards, which I will, for an additional +2 attack each. is a very big attack boost. That is an attack boost of 7 at the price of 3 cards. So my attack is 9.
2 each. Holy crap. Your attack is 9?
It is 9.
V my 6.
See, that's where the whether or not a shape change exists and gets you more than 3 becomes very important.
Boy, we are gambling. I need 4, huh? Plus whatever else you're planning to do.
I may have more, but I might want that more for strong guy.
I think this is the right play. I have to save Cole because it's a net.
It's
a net change of 5
3
defense.
Well,
for Raven.
actually, hold on. Let's calculate this. You did use your power-up card.
Yeah.
Right, but Cole is also the stunned characters. So yes, you're right. It's 5. You have to prevent that.
Oh boy, I got a lot of big cost cards in here already too. So this is the top deck from heaven here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull a Maverick. Should I just look at it and look nervous and throw it up in the air in slow motion? Yeah.
I'm not without other tricks, but I don't have many. So you flip a low card here.
I haven't seen my second Raven. I haven't seen almost any of Coriander. I'm taking both of those.
Oh my word!
As encouraging.
Yes,
but it's still statistically unlikely that I'll hit 4 or better.
I'm ready. I'm ready, Ian.
I'm not ready.
Oh my word!
God!
I need some scotch.
Here we go.
I don't know what else you got either. Oh gosh.
It is not enough. It was 3.
Okay. So we're tied right now.
Yes, which is sufficient.
Okay. I don't know if that's game. Do you have?
I have nothing I can do.
No other defensive
buffs.
buffs.
Nothing I can do to reinforce.
Okay. So let us just conceptually proceed for just a moment, which is to say, well, I guess shape change reduces your attack, so I would not be counterstunned.
Mm-hmm.
Strong guy would attack Raven and deal a point of breakthrough if you have nothing. So you would take 2 plus 8. We would see the next turn.
I suppose if I top deck Coriander, I'm in okay shape.
It's starting to be a long shot.
But it's a long shot. Yeah, I will take a lot of damage next turn, and you will take lots of damage next
Well, we can
turn.
find out real quick.
So we'll continue. That was the incredible play that failed. So I don't get to do Raven's power.
Yeah.
Which
It
was
was
what I played 6 turns ahead in that turn to try to get.
Yeah, no. Well, and it went several of those steps. Now, to be fair, you didn't.
This I did not
one
foresee.
more.
This I did not foresee.
Well, I didn't until that point, and that actually is one of the fun things. Is I never foresaw using my gigantic attack boost on Forge,
Yeah.
and not firing Forge's power to do things like make all of my characters bigger, including double effect on Strong
But
Guy.
we're even without your gigantic attack boost is probably enough to get Raven.
That is true. Maybe. I couldn't be sure. I think removing Cole from the equation is worth it.
It's better. It's the safer play.
Yeah.
So your attack is 9, my defense was 6, so I will take 5. I'm at 16.
Right. I can't get you with Strong Guy, so I just attack. Like that is to say I can't kill you. So I do have to go for Raven, of course, because we're going to next turn and I know it.
Must.
And if I go for Chuckles,
I will take.
8,
Sorry, your attack is what?
15.
So I will take 8. You're right. Yep, 8. Yeah, this is going to be a hell of a recovery if I can muster it. So I'm going to lose. Sadly, Cole, I must keep Raven.
And I will lose my 5-drop, which is not nothing, but I definitely got some board advantage there. But I get to ready my characters, so that's a big deal.
And then we see if I make a miraculous top deck. I think it's likely I get Coriander. I didn't. Like, where is she? I threw 1 in my KO'd pile, but there's 4 in here. And I've gone through half my deck. Yeah, she was not nearby. But it was better.
That was a
That was fun.
Well, and you got
I really
to do,
liked that play.
I mean, it's one of those things, and I guess, when we talk about what is a good game. I admit
This is what scared me. I was like, I have this by 1.
Right.
No, that attack. I knew
that
I was
attack.
going to make that attack.
Right.
And I knew I was going to make it with those 2 characters. And I knew I was not going to be able to do anything but power him up and beat you by 1.
I
So
will say
if that fizzled, the whole thing fell apart.
Right.
earlier.
Well, the rule of thumb with this deck, it's actually got a lot of attack pump, a pretty strong amount. It's got more than those 2 plot twists for it. You actually saw 3 different attack pumping plot twists. Some of them can be on attack or defense.
Power up stops that attack.
Right. However, it has very little defense bumps. So I get power up and forge is basically it for defensive side. So that's not to say your concern was unwarranted, but it's not the deck's strength by a long shot. The deck's strength is prickliness. And it's various other S tiers.
But that was a good game.
Yeah,
I
that was
made
a
a
good
clever play, and then you made a clever play, and your clever play beat my clever play, which feels better than my board state is amazing, and you just lose.
And here's the thing, I will acknowledge. First of all, I acknowledge your point. I think also when we look at the game that felt closer to me, the previous game, I was using the life totals.
This game didn't feel close to you?
No. This game also felt really close to me.
This game came down to like 3 flips of cards.
Oh, for sure. No, but I want to paint a very specific distinction about the difference between a game that might feel close and a game that's actually good. Right? So let's even say in some magical world that I was correct, which I do hear your argument for how I wasn't.
I will never concede that you might be correct, Kyle.
That's fair. With that previous game being close, I didn't know what you had. But the difference between close and good is, I think in a close game, we see life totals be near each other, or there's a potential for a big swing, and I can't rule out your big swing eliminating me. And it doesn't make for a good game, and I think your point is right about that. The good game is the one where I'm going to do something, and then you do something and I can't do that something, so I have to think for a while. And then I think of this thing, and then you can't do the thing you can do, so you have to think for a while. So I actually think the games that feel the best are not only the ones that are close enough that we have to think, but they're close enough but the situations are such that we have a reason to think. That we have wrong plays that we can make.
I'll state it even more simply. It's about back and forth.
For sure.
And the reason the first game I felt was bad, and 3 of the 4 games we played last week were bad, was you presented a 4th that was like twice the size of my back. So I could make plays, but it didn't even matter.
Well, yeah, and I think like in a lot of those games, I'm. It's not like I wasn't trying to play for that point in the experience to turn things around from a life deficit to a significant board advantage. But I think that the back and forth does sum it up. The strategic back and forth. It's not just, I have the right cards to win and it was close. Because that's just a slot machine at the end of the day. What separates Versus System and an average game from a very good game, or just a good game for that matter, is the one where the slot machine goes into the background. The what we draw matters a little bit less because we're playing with what's on the board and what's in our rows to the point where we have to really think about our decisions. And when we're both doing that, the games are at their best.
Well, it's late to start a 3rd game, but we're off next week. We had terrible cards last week. I'm feeling okay, so if you're into it, I'll give it a shot.
I'm willing to do it, but I wanna throw out that our percentage ratio of good games is low, and we just have had one. So we have the opportunity to end on a pretty good note tonight.
Well, this next game is going to be even better.
Well, then we better play the double A.
That's a hard game to top. That was quite a... I love it when it's like...
Well, shape change is hilarious. But the calculated
There were
risk...
so many... I mean, it was 6 attacks.
Yeah.
And within those attacks, there were cards on your side and cards on my side, all of which might have been the end of the game.
Yeah. No,
that was exciting.
It was a good game. I'm glad that we proved to our audience at home that
we do know how to do it sometimes.
We do.
You hate this deck too. So.
That's okay.
But it's bag sort. I don't choose them.
Sure.
Also, you hate a lot of my decks, so you hate about half my decks.
I wouldn't go to half.
Well, not since I removed
since
the 3.
You removed the S. Yeah, since you removed those 3 S decks, I think we went to territory where hate is a strong word. for a lot of these. So I really do.
All right, here we go. I like
Never-
these guys.
I
I haven't
never
played these
texted,
guys. I feel like I haven't played these guys in a long time.
Never texted Kevin. I should really do that. I should let him know
Yep.
that I might need his assistance tomorrow.
You should. You probably should have much earlier in
Yeah,
the.
I should have. Cut your deck. Okay. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, I'm going to roll the inner die will win this time. That's my prediction.
You have won.
I did. I'm going to go...
I think I should not keep these.
I don't remember what I want to go with this deck. I think I'm going to go... evens. I'm going to go evens. I've been going evens every game.
That's not bad. It's not great. It's not bad. It's workable. You went evens, huh? I will not be recruiting a 1-drop.
Sorry, I will keep. And then I will draw. Come on.
You recovering Forge kept you in that game.
Well, it was so funny because
Yeah.
you're like, Forge is still in it. That's weird. And then I ended up doing a critical attack with my 2 draw. Like, I love.
Well,
I
just
love
and
the-
like just like he probably got you because of the recovery, maybe like 3 more counters
Oh,
than
yeah,
an average
that was a
game,
big deal.
and that made the difference.
That was a big deal. Well, it's not. It's also novel to me that we went to
Are you
turn
gonna recruit
7.
anybody?
No, I don't. It is very novel to me that we went to. Turn 7 and the finale critical turn 7 play with my 2-drop attacking your 2-drop.
That's pretty great. That is a good way to look at that.
It was pretty great. It's my turn to do a thing. I do have a 2-drop. My 2-drop
No.
is the Retrieval Protocol, which is an OMAC robot. Their army, they have discard a character or location card.
I think this is a rushdown deck. That could be trouble.
Well, I did miss turn 1, so... sorry. Discard a character or location card, and characters I control with the Identity OMAC robot get +1/+1 this whole turn. But I can only use this power once per turn. Flight and range 2/2.
Well, I do not have a 2-drop that I'm going to play, so let's hope it's not a really successful rushdown deck.
Yep. Well, we don't have a ton of time. So
I'm in a hole.
It's for 2. Yep, just for 2. Right.
Boy, this draw went weird.
I'm also feeling that, interestingly.
My initiative?
Yeah.
I'm going to recruit Guillotina. Whenever she causes a breakthrough to a player, that player loses an additional 1 endurance for each face-down resource he controls.
Okay.
If you miss 3, I'll feel much better.
I don't want you to feel that good.
100-drop?
I mean, he's not huge. This is the Neutralization Protocol, which is an OMAC robot and an army. They do have flight and range. They're only a 4/4. And they have activate, stun another character you control to gain a resource point. I can spend this resource point only to recruit a character card with the Identity OMAC robot, and only once per turn and only during my recruit step. And I am in a form like that.
So you're not going to be doing that.
Correct.
Probably reinforce. I will attack him.
Yeah. I'm going to reinforce. Sure.
3 piece.
3 apiece. I will pass. But your initiative.
You need to be doing different things than this.
What the hell is happening? Boy, I'll tell you what. This is a weird draw. If I had to pick one word to describe this draw, it would be weird. My initiative. I have a choice, not just about what I recruit, but about what goes into my resource row. That's weird. So it's not going to be that. I think we're going to do that. There's a reason to not do that. That's stupid. I regret that decision one day. So, I'm going to. Sorry, this is weird.
You get your 5-drop if you do it right.
Yeah. I'm going to stun a dude. Take 2. Do a recruit 5-drop. So this is the Annihilation Protocol, which is an OMAC robot. I can exhaust a non-army character I control to KO target stunned character. Non-army, which is nobody at the moment. And they're big.
Well, I've got Knockout.
I don't like her.
You do not like her. Knockout gets -1/-1 for each face-up resource you control. And I can return a character I control to an owner's hand, and the controller targets stunned character KOs a face-up resource he controls. And if he does, he puts that character face down into his resource row. Uses power only once a turn.
Right. That's funny.
So that's an interesting power where I could technically do that without you having a face-up resource.
Is
But
it-
all it does is return
right.
the character to my hand.
That's true. That's interesting because it targets a character.
Yes. And the player, but not the resource.
I'm going to attack Guillotina.
Really?
Damn.
I figured you might.
Yeah. It's weird.
Um,
Draw is very weird. Very, very weird. Good night, Chris. Thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate you being here.
Good night. Thanks for sticking it around with us. I'm going to power up once.
Okay.
And then I'm going to play... All Hail Darkseid. Target Darkseid Elite Defender you control gets +2 attack. If that character's named Darkseid, it also gets +2 defense this attack.
You're going counter stun. Discard Annihilation Protocol. Power up.
Okay. Power up again.
Oh my god. I had not foreseen that. Wow. I'm going to get wrecked.
I hope so.
Man. Boy, I did not. This game is. I think you're going to get a blowout on this one. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Don't celebrate yet. Or don't.
Yeah.
I'm missing some pieces.
Me too. You're about to stun them all.
But I will be stunned, and I will take 6 defense to your 11 attack. So I will take 8.
This turn is catastrophic.
And then I go for the smaller dude.
It's catastrophic. I will take 10, 9. Yeah, that's good. We didn't have time for a long game anyway. All right.
Oh well. We tried.
Yeah, my drones got awful. Okay.
Should we stop?
We can go maybe. I don't know. I don't have a 5-drop.
Oof. Do you have a 6-drop? Oh, you can't do that. Can you do that himself? Oh, you don't
No,
have
I sure can't because you KO'd both the characters I need for that.
Could you get a 6-drop at this point with that combo? I guess you could.
I sure could have.
Man,
But
that
now
thing's
I get
scary.
Now I get nothing. Boy, everything I do is bad. Such a big counter stun. That was a huge swing. Yeah. I'm gonna recruit Elimination Protocol, which is a 4-drop. They have KO a character you control to recover target stun character you control with the identity OMAC robot. And then I'll flip up the Checkmate Armory, which I can activate and pay a resource point to search for an equipment. And put it into my hand. Shuffle my deck. It's, of course, a laser watch. I'm just going to put that in mind. It also says characters I control who are equipped get +1 attack.
And I can't stop you from getting knockout.
I shouldn't have recruited. It's actually your initiative.
Is it my
So I
initiative?
didn't do any of that yet. Who knows? Maybe I've got a non-drop character. You don't know.
I'm going to reveal Ancient Evils. As an additional cost to play Ancient Evils, reveal a character in your hand and choose one of its team affiliations. I will reveal Darkseid and choose Darkseid's Elite. Ongoing, characters named Darkseid you control gain the chosen affiliation. And free, character cards named Darkseid you own are not unique this turn. Uses power only once per turn. Knockout will not fire, but hopefully she'll be prickly.
Not fire.
Well, you will attack her.
You do have initiative.
Oh, then she might fire.
So I guess I get to recruit afterwards.
Yes.
Which probably means... Because you're going to KO whoever you attack with Darkseid, and I can't stop it.
Yes.
Fire knockout, of course.
Yes.
No matter who I stun is more valuable, or no matter who you stun is more valuable than Mutina, so I make you go for the smaller character.
Probably. That makes sense. And you put the laser watch on him to get the counterstun on Darkseid? Or
I will
the
not be
bigger
putting a laser watch in.
Do you want to not flip your location?
I needed to spend the resource point. I guess the argument is...
If you don't flip your location, I can't use Guillotine either.
Yeah, but then you have 2 5-drops still.
I'm sorry, knockout. I can't use knockout to KO.
Very, very strange draw.
Oh, but you did a search, so it kind of tricky.
Right, I mean, it's search for a specific menu. No, I mean, I think I just lose the character. That's fine. There's not an advantage to...
And the location.
That's fine. I got plenty of them.
Okay.
Yep, form like that.
Then I attack. I am a robot. I attack the 4-drop.
I am a robot.
I attack the 4-drop with Darkseid.
Yep. Yeah. I'm gonna reinforce.
Okay.
So I take 4.
And he is the. I don't think I read him. Whenever Darkseid stuns a character, its controller loses 1 endurance for each face down resource he controls.
Lord. Alright, so I will take 8. 3. I assume you will pop that power.
Well, technically, I can use Guillotina for something first. I don't think there's something I can use her for. So, yes. But then I attack your 5-drop.
Yep. I am going to flip a checkmate over. So that will reduce your attack by 1.
That's true.
So I will take 6. 17.
And I'm counterstun, so I will take 4.
Ha! At some point you miss a drop, and maybe I'll have a chance.
Huh. I'm sorry. I top decked my 6-drop.
That's cool.
Almost.
So close, so close. Yeah, we can call it. I don't have a 6-drop, so.
Oh my gosh! What? What the heck happened over there?
Absolutely destroyed. I mean, that stunning my 5-drop was the game, but the the whole the whole thing I'm supposed to do is recruit my 5-drop and then recruit my 4-drop with this boost on 6. I didn't get to do any of that.
Okay.
Because you spoiled the chain, but also in so doing... So also, my draw was not very good. I drew 3 Checkmate armories and 1 plot twist, and the rest of my row was full of characters. So, like, I couldn't do anything about any of your powers.
That would not be a good matchup, yeah.
So that was a really Stygian Abyssal game, but that's okay, because we needed something that bad.
Yes. That was a scenario where probably the sweep was just as bad as the first game, only I was really not aware of it at all.
That's fair. Yep. Well, and that was the case in the first game.
I don't feel like I made like a huge play and it was like,
Yeah.
yes, I got him. I'm just like, derp, I'm going to do this. And it's like,
Well, I did not
That happened to
anticipate-
be the thing that won the game.
I did not anticipate your 3-drop getting 4 attack on defense. If you had 1 defense or 1 attack less on that, but like your 3-drop stunned my 5-drop, that was supposed to be a clean attack. And the fact that you got that counter stun dismantled my entire turn and game. And again, my draw was not great, but that was my hope, is that I was going to get to do the 5 on 4 and then this 6 on 5.
Instead of drawing a 1-drop and a 2-drop, I drew 3 for her.
Yeah.
And then I actually had another one of those plot twists. So my early game was really heavy into that thing. So
I couldn't even
I
do
went with it.
Couldn't even do the counter to knockout where I flip a bunch of stuff. That was sad. I'm like, well, the only thing I can flip is my Checkmate armor.
I had 3 Mad Harriets in my resource row.
Jeez. I think that's an instance where a bad draw where you have to put characters in your resource row is doubly bad.
It can be
against
very
Darkseid,
costly versus Darkseid, yeah.
especially against knockout. I generally don't hate that deck. I only kind of hate knockout.
Which is, again, she's not my preferred 4-drop.
And that cracks me up every time. The other 4-drop's annoying too, but not in the same way knockout. It's funny, and I know knockout is a high cost. The frustrating thing with knockout is that her power is, while high cost, the bouncing of the character is a high cost, but it allows you to do it regardless of the state of that other character. I think that game would be stunned, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So it's a very, very free form power, and that's what makes it
the
frustrating.
counter argument, and I agree, she's a really good character, but here's why she's not my preferred character. We go through this every time we complain about her.
Sure.
Is if you flip 2 locations, she's behind curve and she's alive.
She's on curve.
To anything.
To anything, she's on curve.
I don't think she's on curve. She's a 4-drop.
7/7. Right, because she's 10/8 when she gets down to 6/8, which I think is average. So if I flip 3 things, she's behind curve. 2 things.
Okay,
she's on
sure. Maybe she should have a little lower stats.
Well, that's the tricky.
Or
thing.
she meshes two themes that shouldn't have been put together.
That is really the truth. I think that's really the intrinsic key with her, because it's funny. I was just thinking about this. Like back when I was doing character design on one of the MOBAs, the only MOBA I actually worked on. There's sort of this rule of like when you create character weaknesses, you don't create powers that like you don't have characters compensate for their own weaknesses. And in her case, her weakness is she's gigantic. That's an amazing power. She's huge, but I can flip stuff to counter her power.
Right.
But then she's got another power that not only KOs my dudes, but also makes her big again. And it's just so she sort of like it's true that there is a means by which I can accelerate past her, but it's pretty high cost because to flip everything on turn 4 to really negate her effectiveness, or even 3 things on turn 4 is. For mini decks, that's not a trivial thing, because you have to fire all your stuff early, even if you get use for it. And so she just compensates for her own weakness, and that's the frustration, I think.
Right. And the other reason she's not preferred is I have really, really cool stuff that works on Darkseid.
Right, that's true.
And his draw power is like super good too.
No, 4-drop Darkseid is amazing, and his defense is gigantic. And it doesn't go down when I flip stuff, unlike Knockout. But just the fact, again, like his attack is at least low, and it's a tricky thing. It's like you want to make sure. We were just talking about this in the game. So in my current live game, we're introducing a new power in a few days, and I can mention it. But we're introducing a new power in a few days where we have a unit type that fires a projectile, and the farther the projectile travels, the more damage it deals. So the counterplay is to like charge into point blank, to use melee against this ranged character, because then he's doing minimal damage. The projectile doesn't travel very far and doesn't scale. And when we were in the design discussions, it had come up that, well, people were worried that it would feel too punishing when something got in close, so they wanted to have a counterplay to that was like, when he dies, he explodes and deals AoE damage around him, to damage anything that was nearby. But the thing is, what then from the inverse side of the table, what you're saying to someone is, if you behave correctly, you still get screwed.
Yeah.
And so that kind of thing. And knockout is not quite that bad as the case that I just gave, but it's a frustrating thing because I feel like she undermines the way in which I want to counterplay her. And that's probably why she ticks me off. It's not the big stats. It's the big stats combined with, here's how I beat the big stats, and then that beats me because then you get to KO something. So it's the combination. So if she'd had slightly lower stats, even maybe just one lower,
or fixed
and I feel
stats.
okay.
Like fixed stats would have been fine
Right,
too.
sure. If she were just like if you imagine just a 7/7 with that power, or even maybe even a 7/8 with that power, it might be a little bit more palatable. But
Well, I get it. She's a
rough customer. She's a rough customer.
I understand.
Yeah. But nonetheless, it wasn't helped by the fact that my draw played into her very well, which is kind of a fluke. This deck should be okay
Take
in that
this
matchup.
pen with me.
You take
It's
the pen
my
with
pen.
you. Take the pen with you.
Can't have
I'm glad we had a good game tonight, though. I'm glad we had one that was just genuinely a good battle of the wills, battle of the wits, with some craziness thrown in there. That proves it can be done. We should call it a night.
Yep. And we'll be back in 2 weeks. Yes,
yeah,
probably.
I see no reason why 2
That'll
weeks
be.
is
I think it's the first week in December.
Oh boy, December.
Is that right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
That seems right.
Sounds right. I'll go with it.
It's early. It's like December 2nd or something like that.
Early December, we return. 2 weeks from today.
All right. Good night, all.
Thanks for hanging out.